Chapter 26. Johan thought he could escape, but he lost half his life. Unexpectedly, Su Yang actually had a bomb in his hand and chased after him. Looking at his posture, one could tell with one's toes that he was coming for him. Johan didn't want to be killed in the explosion, so he held his breath and ran wildly. Su Yang, let's talk it over, don't blow me up. Johan looked back and found that the distance between them had shortened to only 50 meters. The bomb on the chest will explode in just 15 seconds. Dragging someone along is definitely a dead end. Johan pushed Kong Feixiu away while she looked at him in disbelief and disappointment. It is said that husband and wife are birds of the same forest, but they fly away separately when disaster strikes. What's more, they haven't had any substantial relationship yet, let alone the so-called sacrifice. I want to live, I don't want to die, I'm sorry. Johan turned his head away. You really make me sick. Kong Feixiu's eyes were full of disgust. Johan doesn't care about so many things now. The most important thing is to save his life. What beauty, what dignity, what reputation. Worthless. Kong Feixiu was 36 years old. He was old and didn't exercise much, so he was caught up in a short time. Su Yang had never intended to pass the bomb to Johan. Seeing Kong Feixiu gave up struggling, he patted her on the shoulder. Bomb transfer. Little handsome boy, you're really sad by doing this. Kong Feixiu sneered, completely losing her previous charm and seductiveness. My dear sister, thank you for your help. Su Yang waved his hand and walked away immediately. If you approach her rashly without knowing Kong Feixiu's trump card, you might end up with a lose-lose situation. He has a gun, but each bullet has a cooldown time. Ding ding ding. The sound of the bombs became short and rapid, like a death knell, echoing long and deep. Last 5 seconds. Kong Feixiu looked at the couple at the door of the police station with gloomy eyes, suddenly pulled out a strand of hair and blew it gently. In an instant, the hair turned into pink bubbles and flew into No Ten's mouth. The next moment, love flashed in his eyes, and a look of madness appeared on his face. He ran towards Kong Feixiu frantically. What are you doing? Stop! Number 15 was shocked and grabbed No Ten's hand. He was thrown away in just a moment, and number 10 ran towards Kong Feixiu regardless of anything, as if he was possessed by evil spirits. The 10-meter distance will be reached in an instant. My little darling, come here. Kong Feixiu hooked her finger. I want it, I want it. Number 10 suddenly grabbed the fingers and kept licking them, as if he was tasting a rare delicacy. The moment the two touched, the bomb moved again. Drop no. Number 15 screamed miserably with bloodshot eyes. Bang! With a loud bang, No Ten's body was suddenly blown to pieces by the bomb, and a small mushroom cloud rose slowly. It hovered over the entire town. At the same time, players scattered across the town heard the explosion and all looked towards the city square. Everyone's eyes were focused on the black cloud, and their hearts were shaken. Who was killed? We can't go back to the scene. If the bomb wolf is still there, the bomb will appear again. What about the daily tasks? What a stupid mission. Save your life first. Compared with guns, bombs bring greater impact and fear to people. They have seen bombs that stick to human bodies like maggots and cannot be removed. This death game is not only about IQ, but also physical strength. Whoever runs faster will get a golden medal of immunity from death. Central City Square. The bomb blew a hole directly on the cobblestone path. A graceful figure slowly leaned over and stuffed the task prop into her mouth. The sound of chewing something hard was heard, and Kong Feixiu seemed to be tasting delicious food with a satisfied look on her face. He chewed it until it was soft and swallowed it, then glanced in the direction of the police station. I saw number 15 lying quietly on the ground, his pair of wax-like eyes staring at the sky, his face still showing the despair and pain he had in his lifetime. A double hit, it turns out you are lovers. Kong Feixiu giggled at the unexpected surprise. Lovers, both must survive to the end. If one of the lovers dies, the other will die immediately as well. Kong Feixiu walked forward and ate the third task item. The body then disappeared. Su Yang, who was hiding in the dark, saw everything and a solemn expression appeared on his face. Sure enough, she is a foxy girl. He immediately turned around and chased Johan. He wanted to eliminate this werewolf who posed the greatest threat. 2 eyeballs are still missing. Kong Feixiu licked her rosy lips and looked in the direction where Su Yang left. It seems I need to find a new master. Old Tavern. Su Yang followed Johan into the tavern, holding a Browning 1911 and looking around vigilantly. Even during the day, the pub was very dark, and the air was filled with the aroma of malt and alcohol. There was an NPC standing at the bar, wiping his wine glass and ignoring Su Yang's arrival. "Johan, get out here, you can't run away." Su Yang pulled the safety, held the gun with both hands, and touched the trigger with his 2 index fingers. The words echoed in the tavern. Su Yang was sure that he saw Johan enter. He must be hiding under a table somewhere now. "I'll give you a chance to come out and reveal your identity. If you confess truthfully, I'll spare your life." Su Yang walked forward slowly. Still no response. "Do you plan to be a mouse for the rest of your life? You can hide for a while, but can you hide for the rest of your life? If someone calls the police later, will you come out? Or will you choose not to come out and be expelled by default?" Su Yang continued. He didn't know Johan's identity, but he was sure that he must be neutral or below. If the other party has a gun and hides in a corner, he will be ambushed if he is not careful. Therefore, Su Yang checked every corner, holding the pistol tightly, and his spirit was extremely tense. Su Yang's heart was pounding and his face felt burning. He took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. Looking at the quiet pub, he suddenly had an idea and squatted down to hide behind the bar. With Johan's brain, could he have imagined that I would hide here? Su Yang suppressed the upward curve of his lips. Since the other party refused to come out, he didn't plan to look for him at each bar. Half an hour passed and you could hear a pin drop in the pub, but not a single sound was made during that time. At this moment, the door of the utility room in the pub quietly opened a crack, and an eye appeared, carefully observing the situation. "That guy's gone." Johan looked for a while but didn't see Su Yang. To be on the safe side, he did not run out straight away. What if Su Yang was just pretending to leave? Wouldn't that mean he had fallen into a trap? Johan thought of a way. He planned to use his talent. Then he crossed his hands in front of his eyes, and a mysterious force suddenly appeared. His body suddenly became illusory and merged into the environment. With that security secured, he tiptoed out of the utility room, his hands tightly covering his mouth. Just moved towards the door step by step. Everything went very smoothly at the beginning, and Johan was secretly pleased with his own cleverness. "Wait till I get out, or you'll have something to worry about." When had Johan ever been so embarrassed? Being chased by someone? He must vent this anger. However, as soon as I walked to the bar, I found a head hiding behind it. He didn't leave. Johan's heart skipped a beat and his pupils suddenly shrank. It was this inhalation action that made Su Yang notice something was wrong. He stuck his head out with a pistol in hand and glanced in the direction of the sound. "Strange, I clearly heard breathing, but where is the person?" Su Yang frowned and suspected that he was hallucinating. At this moment, Johan didn't dare to breathe at all, because Su Yang's face was 10 centimeters away from him, and he could even smell the other's breath. His heart was in his throat and Johan didn't dare to move. He was afraid that if he moved, he would be exposed. Chapter 27. Huff, huff. Johan clearly didn't want to breathe, but he couldn't stop it. Su Yang sniffed and smelled a strange smell. It's not alcoholic, nor is it malty. Instead, it was an unusual stench, a stench that was somewhat familiar. "Not sure, let me smell it again." Su Yang leaned forward a few centimeters and took a deep breath. Johan's pupils suddenly shrank when he saw this. The distance between the two has shortened again. Their mouths almost kissed. He never thought that he would fall into such a desperate situation. What was even more unexpected was that Su Yang was so cunning and hid in such a position. The game is dark under the lamp. The invisibility time is almost over. I can't waste any more time. Johan said to himself. Once he reveals himself, Su Yang will definitely shoot him in the head. Thinking of this, Johan became more and more eager to escape, and moved forward little by little. Su Yang smacked his lips and chewed it carefully. Where have I smelled this before? He seemed to have grasped a corner of the answer, but somehow he just couldn't remember it. Suddenly, he saw the bread on the bar, and an idea struck him. I remember now, it's FG bad breath. Su Yang looked behind him suddenly and reached out to grab it. It was definitely Johan, although I don't know what method he used to become invisible. Shit! Johan saw the big hand reaching out and tried to dodge by turning his body to the side, but his sleeve was still grabbed. Don't run. If you dare to run, I will shoot you to death. Su Yang shouted. Did I provoke you? You're sticking to me like a dogskin plaster. Johan struggled hard but failed, so he simply took off his clothes and ran outside. You can't go anywhere today. A white t-shirt appeared, Su Yang's eyes flashed coldly, and he picked up a bottle of wine and smashed it on the ground. Bang! The wine bottle shattered and the liquid inside spilled all over the floor. Johan was so panicked that he wanted to escape, and a small hole immediately appeared when his foot touched the wine on the ground. Su Yang seized the opportunity and jumped out of the bar, kicking him to the ground. He raised his gun and sneered, "Are you still running?" After a while, the invisibility effect disappeared and Johan's real body appeared. He raised his hands above his head, fear all over his face, and begged, "Please don't kill me. I know how much I offended you before, and I even called you a wolf. I was a bad mouth, so I slapped myself." As he spoke, Johan knelt on the ground and slapped himself. Pa, pa, pa. He was slapped again and again until his face was swollen. But he still didn't stop, as if he wanted to draw until Su Yang was satisfied. "What is your identity?" Su Yang remained unmoved, with a hint of contempt in his eyes. What he despised most was this kind of begging for mercy. The so-called admitting one's mistake is nothing more than knowing that one is going to die. "I can't tell you. If I tell you, you will definitely kill me," Johan cried. "I can guess even without you telling me that you are the king of explosions, right?" Su Yang raised his eyebrows. "No." Johan immediately shook his head, his eyes flickering. "What is Kong Feixiu's identity?" "I have no idea." Su Yang's face was full of sternness. He kicked him to the ground and said coldly, "You don't think anyone will come to save you?" "Explain." Johan gritted his teeth, with a flash of resentment in his eyes. "She is a vulture. She teamed up with me from the beginning to help me clear my suspicion really." Su Yang suddenly realized that it was no wonder that he stayed with Kong Feixiu. It was not just because of her beauty, there were deeper reasons. "Where did you go on the first day?" Su Yang asked again. "I was just wandering around, trying to drop a bomb, but I didn't find the chance." Johan's voice got smaller and smaller. "How did number 3 die? Was his body eaten by Kong Feixiu?" "I don't know who killed number 3. If I knew, I would have cooperated with the murderer long ago," Johan said truthfully. He looked up at Su Yang's face and continued, "The body was eaten by Kong Feixiu. After she finished eating, she promised to protect me." "So what did she ask you to do?" "She asked me to help find teammates for the wolf team." Johan didn't dare to look at Su Yang. He had never seen such a terrifying look. It seemed as if they were going to skin him alive and pull out his tendons. "Sun Wei is right, you are a beast." Su Yang sneered. "I just wanted to win the game, what did I do wrong?" Johan defended himself. "You are right, but don't you know that Vulture is neutral? Once she wins, everyone will die, including you, idiot." Su Yang cursed loudly. He was like seeing the king of hell. In order to show his masculinity, he even gave up his life. Kong Feixiu is a woman who is good at manipulating people's hearts. She is very smart and knows how to use her strengths to seduce. Johan was foolish enough to be fooled and naively thought it was due to his personal charm. "She just ate a corpse, what kind of trouble can that cause?" Johan muttered in a low voice. "You think you are using her, but actually she is using you." Su Yang slapped him. "What do you mean?" Johan was stunned. "Do you really think Kong Feixiu is dead?" Su Yang slowly squatted down and looked into his eyes. "She took the bomb, how could she not die? The bomb just went off." Johan's face was full of disbelief. Su Yang slowly stood up and stared towards the city square, a gleam of light flashing in his eyes. "She passed the bomb to number 10 in the last 5 seconds. Impossible." Johan felt it was ridiculous. "You seem to know everything about her, but you don't know her talent." Su Yang shook his head, feeling sorry for him. "What talent?" "Charm." As soon as these words were spoken, Johan's face changed drastically, and cold sweat instantly soaked his back. "If you hadn't shake her off, you would have been the one killed in the explosion." Su Yang dropped another bombshell. Johan said with lingering fear, "So what? She just ate 2 corpses. What kind of threat can she pose?" "Number 10 and number 15 are lovers," Su Yang said. "Then 3. Johan was stunned at first, then he said stiffly, You really don't understand the meaning of raising a tiger will bring disaster upon yourself. Su Yang shook his head and said. Don't worry, as long as you let me out, I will definitely help the good guys and kill her. Johan hugged Su Yang's thighs and said sincerely. I'm a stupid bird. What's the point of you helping the good guys? Su Yang said jokingly. You are not a good person. Johan's first reaction was that Su Yang was lying to him. When did I say I was a good person? Su Yang asked with a smile. Then how did you get a gun? You guess. Johan was incredulous. How could such a stupid guy hold a gun in his hand? Is this reasonable? Then I will vote for you at the next meeting, and you can give me a chance to redeem myself, okay? Johan begged softly. It's too late. She will eat the fourth corpse soon. Su Yang glanced in the direction of the tavern entrance. Who are you eating? Johan didn't react. When he realized it, his heart skipped a beat, his face suddenly changed, and he ran away decisively. Help! Su Yang wants to kill someone. Bang! There was a gunshot, and the bullet went straight through his chest, leaving a hole the size of a fist. Thump! Johan's body was lying on the ground, his legs twitching slightly, his eyes still full of desire to survive. As his vision became increasingly blurred, a pair of beautiful legs that he had always dreamed of playing with appeared in front of him. Then there was a beautiful face, looking at him with a smile as beautiful as a flower. Johan reached out to touch it, but was ruthlessly slapped away. Kong Feixiu stroked his face and said, You know, your eyes always glance at me, and I wanted to dig them out and eat them more than once. Now, the dream has come true. After saying this, an eyeball connected to the eye nerve was pulled out of the body. Kong Feixiu tilted his head back, opened his mouth, put the eyeball into his mouth and chewed it, with a look of satisfaction on his face. Chapter 28. Johan's eyeballs seemed particularly delicious. Kong Feixiu savored the aftertaste in her mouth and squinted her eyes in enjoyment. Su Yang found a bar counter and sat down. He took a sip of the beer in the pub and couldn't help frowning. What's that smell? He took a sip and pushed it aside, tapping the table slowly with his fingertips. After a moment, two slender fingers as white as jade pinched the wine glass, put it to his mouth and took a big gulp. Kong Feixiu sat opposite Su Yang and said with a smile, Thank you, handsome boy. Your kindness is so great, how can I repay you? Did you hear everything? Su Yang asked casually. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I just ate too much and simply wanted to come to the pub to rinse my mouth. Kong Feixiu did not deny it. I helped you eat 3 eyeballs. How about you do me a favor as repayment? Su Yang asked. You are such a forgetful person. Not long ago you wanted to blow me up, but now you are helping me. Kong Feixiu's expression was a little angry. She can be angry or happy, and her every move carries an irresistible charm. Su Yang claimed that he had watched countless movies, but he still couldn't handle it. I am in the neutral camp, so of course I have to consider myself. Isn't it the same for you? Su Yang smiled. You want to work with me? Of course. Su Yang nodded and pushed the glass towards her. Help me find the messenger of justice. Kong Feixiu circled the rim of the wine glass with her fingertips and said slowly, Is this your sincerity? I have a big appetite, but 1 glass of wine is not enough. Found it, as many as you want. But I don't believe you, what should I do? Su Yang moved his arm slightly, and a pistol under the table was pointed at her abdomen. Do you have a choice? I hate threats. Kong Feixiu held up her wine glass and smiled, Do you have any more bullets? Guess. Su Yang had a meaningful smile on his face. The two looked at each other in silence, just standing there in a stalemate. Kong Feixiu felt that Su Yang was extremely mysterious. He was clearly a stupid bird, but he had weapons on him. She subconsciously guessed that Su Yang's real identity was Falcon, but she didn't understand why he was looking for the messenger of justice. Wouldn't it be better to find the sheriff? She couldn't see through Su Yang's deep eyes. This is just the first time. It won't happen again. Kong Feixiu raised his glass, drank it all, then stood up and left. Before leaving, she turned back and said, If there is a body, remember to notify me. Do I need to be notified of your nose that is sharper than a dog's? Su Yang turned around and asked. How ungraceful. I'm leaving now. Kong Feixiu snorted in dissatisfaction and walked away with graceful steps. Su Yang turned around and looked at the wine glass on the table, falling into deep thought. With the information he has collected now, he can roughly deduce the identity of the surviving players. Number 1 Sheriff Yu Yu. Assassin number 2 Guo Bing. Fat Detective number 6. Number 7 Kong Feixiu Vulture. Canada Goose for chubby girls size 11. The identities of number 4 Xiang Hao, number 13 Wang Yao, and number 16 Sun Wei are still unknown. The messenger of justice will come from among these three, and so will the falcon. Su Yang took a new wine glass and filled it with mulberry juice. He took a long drink to quench his thirst and pondered how to win the next game. Only 4 players left with guns. The reason why Su Yang asked Kong Feixiu to find the messenger of justice was very simple. It was difficult for him to win now as a stupid bird. The winning rate can be said to be close to 0. He not only needs to change his mindset, but also his camp. With a gun in hand, he can kill the messenger of justice and naturally become this person. Currently, there are at least 3 people who believe that he is the messenger of justice: Fatty, Yu Yu, and Sun Wei. Including himself, there are 4 people in total. There are still 9 people alive on the field. Only by killing the messenger of justice can he realize his comeback plan. The vulture is only 1 corpse away from winning. I hope there won't be any more killings. Su Yang drank the mulberry juice in 1 gulp, then stood up and left. Except for the sheriff, falcon, and werewolf who can shoot unlimited times, others who want to shoot either have prerequisites or can only shoot once. Su Yang was obviously the latter. He only had 1 bullet. It was given to Johan not long ago. The game just now was a psychological one. Kong Feixiu would definitely think he was the sheriff. Bang! As soon as he walked out of the pub, Su Yang heard a gunshot. Guo Bing or Yu Yu? Not good. Su Yang felt as if he was facing a formidable enemy and immediately ran towards the place where the gunshots came from. However, before he could run 100 meters, the bell rang suddenly. When this is the meeting notice. Su Yang secretly breathed a sigh of relief. At least he didn't give the vulture any chance. When he returned to the church, it was already full of people. The scene was very quiet, with a hint of subtlety in the weirdness. Everyone looked like they were worried, and Fatty number 6 was biting his nails and sweating profusely. What happened? Su Yang sat back in his seat and looked at number 1 Yu Yu opposite him. Yu Yu slowly raised his gloomy face. The sheriff is dead. What? Su Yang's face changed. Isn't the sheriff number 1? If she wasn't the sheriff, then what was she? Who is the sheriff? Before he could ask, a line of blood words suddenly appeared on the table. All players are in place, starting with number 11. The slightly plump girl number 11 stood up and said with a complicated look in her eyes, the body was at the port, and I was worried that vultures would eat it, so I called the police immediately. What happened was that number 1 was chasing number 2, and number 4 wanted to stop him, but number 16 insisted on killing number 2. Number 13 then asked him who he was and why he was instigating murder. Number 16 said he was afraid of assassins and didn't dare to reveal his identity, so number 13 pulled out a gun and forced him to reveal his identity. Number 16 was unwilling, so number 13 opened fire, and finally both died at the same time. Number 11 said and sat back. Su Yang's scalp tingled after hearing this. The thing he was most worried about finally happened. Since Yu Yu is not the sheriff, then she has a gun. Messenger of justice. Su Yang frowned. No, it shouldn't be justice. When the two were facing each other with knives, Su Yang said that he was righteous. If she was truly righteous, she would probably be suspicious. But after a day of getting along with her, I found that there was nothing wrong with her. Instead, she was doing good things for good people. Could it be the Avengers? Su Yang speculated. That's not right either. The prerequisite for the Avengers to be able to shoot is to witness a killing in person. She pointed a gun at Guo Bing early this morning and fired a shot. This doesn't make her look like an Avenger. And she could chase people with a gun, obviously more than one shot. The messenger of justice can also be excluded. Since none of the 3 are true. A thought emerged in Su Yang's mind. In just half a day, number 5, number 10, number 12, number 13, number 15, and number 16 all died. 6 people died at once. In this situation, those who have guns have been exposed, and the next fight will definitely be a situation of indiscriminate shooting of pistols. Not only can the stupid bird not win, the good guys are bound to lose too. It's impossible to wear the clothes of the messenger of justice. Su Yang raised his eyes slightly and watched Yu Yu, who slowly stood up. If you can't be a good person or neutral, then be a wolf. Chapter 29. Yu Yu stared at Guo Bing beside her and said, Number 2 killed number 12. There is no doubt that he is a werewolf. Number 16 and number 8 can testify to this. There is no problem for me to kill him. My gun is empty, and the next good guy has no weapon, so I have to go with number 2 this round. Number 8, number 10 and number 15 are also dead. I don't know if Bomb Wolf is still here. Good people must vote with me. You must not split the votes. I only need the votes of number 4, number 6, number 8 and number 11. Together with my 5 votes, I can definitely vote him out. As long as number 2 is expelled, the good guys win and the game ends immediately. After saying that, she sat down gently and crossed her legs. Then she met Su Yang's gaze and gave him a charming smile. At this moment, it is as bright as a dream and life is like a summer flower. Su Yang was cheated, or to be more precise, he was cheated. She knew her identity from the beginning to the end, just like the pair of eyes of true sight. I thought it was just to see if the player could hold a gun. Until now, he found out that he was wrong. It's so wrong. The true vision talent is equivalent to the prophet in werewolf. Can clearly identify each person. But the only thing that was shown was the weapon. Therefore, the players present can only see part of it. Or perhaps it was a part that Yu Yu took the initiative to reveal. What a deep scheme. Su Yang wanted to raise other people's pigs, but he didn't expect that in the end he would be the one being raised as a pig. Now, he is 100% sure that Yu Yu is Falcon. It was number 2 Guo Bing's turn to speak. He said loudly, Number 1 is completely slandering me. I did have a tryst with number 12, but I didn't kill anyone, and I don't have the ability to kill anyone. She came up and indiscriminately smeared me and even shot me. Fortunately, number 4 spoke up for me, otherwise I would have died too. Number 1 is definitely not a good person. She also went out in the middle of the night. It is very likely that she killed no 12. All votes to shoot number 1. I hope good people can recognize the situation. Number 4 Xiang Hao said, Number 1 is really too aggressive. He killed people without knowing their identities. This is really wrong. Also, number 5, number 10, and number 15 died, but number 7 and number 8 were not at the scene on our side. I hope you can explain this. This meeting is for number 1 and number 2. I'll listen to the next speaker and then decide who will take over. Fatty number 6 said, I was the first hand bomber, and number 8 was the second hand bomber. He took the bomb away. It is highly likely that one of the 3 people who died was killed by the explosion. I don't know how the other 2 died. There was almost an hour between the first bomb explosion and the sheriff's death, and no bombs went off during that time. I guess the bomb wolf will appear between number 5 and number 10. There is a high probability that there will be only one wolf left on the field. As long as the wolf is voted out in this round, the good guys will win. At this point, the fat man glanced at Su Yang and said thoughtfully, I will vote with number 8. I will vote for whoever number 8 votes for. Kong Feixiu stood up slowly and said lazily, I ran away after the bomb went off and hid inside the factory. I didn't see anyone during that time. As expected, Kong Feixiu did not reveal Su Yang's identity. This is the advantage of the last position, once Kong Feixiu reveals that Su Yang is a stupid bird. Su Yang will definitely reveal the fact that she has eaten 4 corpses, and then the assassin will most likely throw her out first because she poses the greatest threat. As for Johan's death, she chose to let Su Yang speak for himself. Just as Su Yang was about to stand up, a shackle suddenly appeared on the armrest of the chair and locked him. What's going on? Everyone was puzzled. Not only was his movement restricted, but even his eyes were blinded, leaving him in darkness. Only the sense of smell and hearing remain. Talent. Su Yang thought subconsciously. At this moment, he heard footsteps coming from the left. The steps were sometimes heavy, sometimes light, as if deliberately creating an illusion. Su Yang took a few breaths and didn't smell anything wrong. At this moment, the footsteps suddenly disappeared. Bang! Suddenly, a gunshot rang out, deafening. Assassin, this is the ability of an assassin. The werewolf fired. A minute later, the shackles on my hands disappeared and the scene in front of me gradually became clear. Su Yang found number 11 lying on a chair with his head blown up and red and white objects scattered all over the floor. The death was particularly tragic. Everyone's faces were extremely solemn, as they all realized that the assassin was still present. Su Yang was the last player to speak. He took a deep breath and said, "I believe everyone has seen that the assassin is still alive. We must use the wolf in this round, otherwise we will not be able to verify his identity. I killed number 5. He was the exploding wolf. Number 10 was killed by the bomb I sent him. His identity was his lover, and number 15 was his love object. I had a confrontation with number 1 on the first day, and I always thought she was the sheriff, but now number 13 is confirmed to be the sheriff, so what is her identity? In fact, we only need to solve one doubt to solve the problem. Who killed no 12? Number 1 and number 16, and I did see number 2 and number 12 having a tryst in the red light district, but she was still alive at the time. The red light district is very close to the church. If number 2 fired a gun, we would definitely hear it. If you want to kill someone secretly without being heard, you can only do it as far away from the church as possible. And number 2 returned to the church within half an hour after the 3 of us, so he didn't have enough time to kill anyone. The murderer could only have been among those who sneaked out in the middle of the night. He said it on the morning of the 2nd. He went out at midnight on the 1st, 7th, 4th, and 16th. This is the turn between number 1 and number 2, so number 1 must be the murderer. She is also the person most likely to know the identity of No 11. All votes to shoot No 1. After the speech, a string of blood words flashed on the desktop. The speeches are over, and voting will begin in 1 minute. What Su Yang can be sure of is that number 8 will follow his ticket. Because he saved No 8's life, in his view, he is a good guy who is as tough as can be. It depends on whether this round of speeches can impress Yang Hao. He now wants to play himself as a werewolf, and Guo Bing is his wolf teammate and cannot be voted out. If the falcon were still alive, based on the current population ratio, the falcon moment would definitely be triggered. This is what Yu Yu was planning. She wanted to drag it out until the falcon moment was triggered, and then she would be sure of victory. Could Sunwei be the messenger of justice? Su Yang wondered. Justice can only come from between numbers 16 and 4. 1 minute is up, and as the countdown of 3, 2, 1 appears on the table, at the moment of the end, the player raises his hand and selects the object. The ticket type has been determined. 2 votes for number 1 from number 8 and number 2. 2 votes for number 2 from number 1, number 6 and number 4. Number 7 Kong Feixiu chose to abstain from voting. Tie vote. Su Yang's heart was shocked. He didn't expect that number 6 would turn against his party at the last minute. Chapter 30. And Kong Feixiu, why did she choose to abstain from voting? Are you worried that all the werewolves will be voted out and the good guys will win? Falcon's ticket was invalid, so when Yu Yu pointed at him, no valid ticket type was born. Tie vote, no one is evicted, game continues. Things were out of control, and Su Yang became more and more anxious. A sense of crisis also came with it. Bang! The moment the meeting officially ended, Yu Yu and Guo Bing raised their guns and aimed at each other's heads. I didn't expect you had wolf teammates present. Yu Yu said coldly. You surprise me. You've been wearing the sheriff's uniform for so long, don't you feel uncomfortable? The scar on Guo Bing's face twitched slightly, making him look particularly hideous. Fatty number 6 looked at Su Yang in confusion. Why did you choose number 1? She must be a good person. She is a good person, so why is she still shooting now when she already fired a shot in the morning? Now that the sheriff has left, can you tell me who she is? Su Yang asked back. She. The fat man was stunned. She is a good person. Why does number 2 only have 2 votes when 3 people voted? Su Yang asked again. This. The fat man was sweating profusely. Could it be that a falcon will appear between you and No 4? Su Yang said with a smile. There's no falcon, it's a pelican. The fat man was confused. What pelican? A series of question marks appeared in Su Yang's head. In his impression, the fat man has strong logic, speaks righteously, and is a person who knows how to play games. But I didn't expect that the word pelican would actually come out of his mouth. It was like a knife stabbing my butt, it really opened my eyes. Wasn't number 3 eaten by the pelican? Number 14 is the pelican. The fat man said as a matter of course. OMG! What on earth is he playing? Su Yang rubbed his eyebrows. He felt that the fat man had become so abstract that he no longer looked like a human being. After playing for a whole day, I still couldn't even figure out the board. I should have known not to save you. I really regret it. Su Yang patted his shoulder. It's better not to save this stupid pig. If he had been killed in the explosion, number 1 would have been voted out long ago. Why are there so many weird things? How did the body number 3 disappear? Was it the vulture? The fat man realized belatedly. Su Yang sighed, and suddenly realized that there was one less person on the field. Where's Kong Feixiu? Xiang Hao pointed to the door. She just ran out. It's bad. Su Yang thought to himself that it was not good. He suddenly realized that if number 1 was the falcon, then the body of number 12 must still be hidden somewhere in the town. The vulture's ability is to smell the location of a corpse, so she must be looking for it now. Kong Feixiu also sneaked out in the middle of the night yesterday. She ate 4 corpses but didn't win. She must have failed to find the exact location of the corpses. But after a night of elimination, the remaining positions. How could I have forgotten this? Su Yang shouted, stop confronting each other, the vulture is going to win. What a joke. A vulture thinks it can win after eating just a few corpses. Yu sneered. Su Yang frowned and said seriously, Johan told me that number 7 ate the body of number 3, and she also ate the bodies of number 10 and number 15. She also ate Johan's body. There are 4 in total. If the body of number 12 is found, we will all be doomed. Guo Bing turned his head suddenly and asked, didn't you say that number 10 was killed by you? I concealed this fact. In fact, number 7 was with me the whole time. I saw her eat 3 corpses with my own eyes. Su Yang was very anxious. UFGBD. Guo Bing was furious and pointed his gun at Su Yang. Enough. Yu shouted, now is not the time to quarrel. If the vultures win, we'll all die. Guo Bing snorted angrily, put away his gun and asked, you killed number 12, right? Where is the body? Yu ran outside without saying a word. Number 7 is actually a vulture, the fat man said in disbelief. Xiang Hao was very silent from beginning to end, and did not move even after hearing the news. The fat man looked back at him and shouted, Brother Hao, let's go. What are you standing there for? I'm wondering what the identity of number 8 is. Xiang Hao slowly took out a pistol from his pocket and rushed out. The fat man stood there in a daze, completely confused. Number 1 has a gun, number 2 has a gun, number 4 has a gun, number 8 has a gun, and number 13 also has a gun. 5 guns in one game? He originally thought that he was the most useful person, but unexpectedly he suddenly became the most useless person. I can't even tell the difference between a falcon and a pelican. Led by Yu, several people ran into the factory. As soon as I entered the door, I saw Kong Feixiu holding an eyeball in her hand. Lying on the ground was the body of number 12. You are too late. It's over. Kong Feixiu opened his mouth and swallowed the eyeball. Court death. Bang, bang, bang. At the critical moment, the 3 men fired at the same time, and the bullets passed through Kong Feixiu's abdomen, chest, and head respectively. At the moment of death, the eyeball was swallowed into the stomach. The 2 proceed almost simultaneously. Everyone's heart was in their throat. If she is judged to have successfully eaten the corpse, no one will be able to clear the game. All will die. This moment felt like a year, and every second was torture. Su Yang's face turned pale, the thing he feared most happened. After putting in so much effort, the result is such a shitty one? The only sound in the quiet factory was the pounding heartbeat. All the blood in the body gathered in the heart, which beat vigorously as if trying to pump the blood out, and the limbs were extremely cold. Everyone was sweating profusely and stood still, waiting for the ending. However, things did not go in the worst direction. Death did not come yet, and everyone looked at each other, relieved, with a flash of relief in their eyes for being alive. The fat man collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. Luckily I didn't win, that's great. At this moment, Xiang Hao rushed out and slapped the police with his hand. When the bells ring, everyone must return to the church for a meeting within half an hour. Falcon, you can't escape. Xiang Hao said in a deep voice. If you vote me out, can you guarantee that we will win? Yu sneered. We still have 3 good people, why can't we win? Xiang Hao asked back. Number 2 already knows that you are the messenger of justice. Will he let you live during the meeting? Yu Yu said. And Yu Yu changed the subject and looked at Su Yang with a playful look on her face, who said there are 3 good people? Isn't there a stupid bird standing here? Dumb bird? Everyone suddenly turned to look at Su Yang with horror on their faces. Impossible, how could Dai bird help me take the bomb and pretend to be a good guy? The fat man was the first one who didn't believe it. How could a stupid bird have a gun? Are you taking me for a fool? Xiang Hao didn't believe it either. My eyes of true vision will not lie. As early as the first day, I saw through his true identity. As she spoke, Yu Yu suddenly grabbed Su Yang's shoulders to prove her point, with white light flashing in her eyes. This time, not only the guns hidden on him were revealed, but also his original identity. I saw 3 big words on the top of its head, stupid bird. See, this is the truth. Yu Yu raised the corners of his mouth, his face full of teasing. This, how could this happen? The fat man's worldview seemed to collapse, as if he fell into an ice cave. The game was originally a sure win, but now there is such a big variable. Will the silly bird help good people? Xiang Hao said nothing, his face was gloomy, his fists were clenched, and his eyes were full of unwillingness. Indeed, even if calling the police can get number 1 out, what happens next? The good guys no longer have guns, and Guo Bing massacred 1 person. Even if he called the police again, it would be a one-on-one situation. Why should Dai bird help good people to play? My suggestion is that everyone abstain from voting in the meeting, and let me in number 2. Yu Yu raised the corners of his mouth. Su Yang interrupted him halfway through his words, wait, why must I be a stupid bird? Yu Yu frowned unhappily, the evidence is irrefutable. At this point, you, a stupid bird, still want to win. Su Yang raised his chin slightly, with a wicked arc at the corner of his mouth, you have the eye of true vision, so can't I disguise? How could it be such a coincidence? Yu Yu sneered. She has the eye of true vision to verify identities, and Su Yang just happens to have the disguise to fake identities? This is such a coincidence, as if it was created specifically to restrain her. Then how do you explain the gun in my hand? Su Yang asked. If you are not a stupid bird, then what is your identity? Su Yang took out his pistol, pulled the slide, grinned and said, formally introduce myself, I am a professional killer. Fraud talent activated. Chapter 31. Are you a professional killer? The first person to raise questions was not Yu Yu, but Guo Bing. When he first saw Su Yang showing his gun, he labeled him as a messenger of justice. It could not be verified afterwards because there was Yu Yu behind it. After the sheriff was exposed and died, he became more convinced that Su Yang was the messenger of justice. During the meeting, he wanted to use his assassin ability to kill Su Yang, and even stood behind him for a while. To be on the safe side, Guo Bing did not take action in the end, but instead targeted the Canada Goose, about which the information was more reliable. Now that a wolf teammate suddenly appeared, Guo Bing was surprised, but more puzzled. Of course, if I am the stupid bird, then who killed Johan? Su Yang pointed his gun at Yu Yu and said with a smile, you raise my pigs, and in return, I raise your pigs. You are a killer, number 5 is the king of explosions, number 2 is an assassin, and what is the identity of No 14? Yu Yu asked. It doesn't matter who he is. Number 14 is just a scapegoat. Su Yang looked at the exquisitely crafted pistol, his eyes full of admiration. The dual combination of technology and beauty can be called the crystallization of art. 100 years later, it is still popular. Number 3 was not killed by No 14. The fat man was surprised. Of course not. Number 7 and number 5 signed a master-servant contract. One party helped to find the wolf teammates, and the other party created an alibi for him. The two met next to No 3's body. Number 7 ate the body in front of number 5, and number 2 was also seen at the same time. At this point, Su Yang looked at Guo Bing and asked, number 7 must have talked to you, right? I guess. You want the body of number 7 in return for the promise of killing to keep her fed, right? Several eyes were focused on Guo Bing's ferocious face, and the anger after killing someone lingered for a long time. That St refused to do so. I just wanted to play with her. It won't cost me a piece of meat. Guo Bing looked at Kong Feixiu's body, his eyes filled with undisguised desire. The negotiations failed, so your second choice is No 12. Su Yang said. That's right. She wanted to be protected, so how could she not pay a price? Guo Bing recalled that night, licking his lips and said, although she doesn't look that good, she tastes pretty good. You are still thinking about that kind of thing at this time, are you a human being? The fat man was very angry and started cursing. After being locked up for so long, your appetite has become tasteless. How can you not try some meat? Guo Bing laughed. Su Yang shook his head. The question goes back to number 7. She said she had met number 2 during the meeting, but changed her story after the meeting. You must have given her a hint, right? I used telepathy to tell her to shut up, otherwise I would have revealed her identity as a vulture. Guo Bing nodded without comment. She said she hates threats the most. Aren't you afraid of a lose-lose situation? Su Yang understood that it was Guo Bing's talent that was causing the problem. Everyone thinks that number 14 was a wolf. If I die again, there will only be one wolf left. She is a smart person and knows how to weigh the pros and cons. Guo Bing smiled proudly. Vultures only live for themselves, and if only one werewolf is left, they will definitely hide. But truth will come out sooner or later. If the werewolf doesn't kill anyone, the good guys can win by just completing their mission. It would be a fantasy for the vultures to win if no one died. You hold her lifeline in your hands, so she saves you. Xiang Hao said in a deep voice. You don't want to sacrifice your chastity, but you still want to win. How can there be such a good thing in the world? If it were you, would you agree to it? Guo Bing mocked. There was no way this deal could be negotiated. Kong Feixiu was a very proud person. She can be accommodating, but she can never compromise. Therefore, she chose to control Johan because he was the dumbest and most easily overwhelmed. Since number 3 was killed by number 2, then who killed no 9, the fat man asked doubtfully. The problem has returned to the original state, and it is still a mystery that no one has solved. Number 1, do you still remember the person who could become me? Su Yang said slowly. Number 13. Yu frowned. I originally thought she was Falcon, and I volunteered to help you kill her. It's a pity that you were too anxious. You wanted to prove yourself as a good person. If you hadn't been so impulsive this morning, maybe the sheriff and the good guy wouldn't have been exposed, and you could have continued to hide. Su Yang sighed regretfully. That's right. The fat man slapped his forehead and exclaimed, number 13 turned into number 7 and asked number 16 why he instigated the murder. I felt something was wrong at the time. How come number 7 had a gun? Xiang Hao's frown gradually relaxed. No 13's talent is transformation. The Su Yang that number 16 saw in the red light district on the first day was actually no 13. Impossible, the board is wrong. If number 13 is the sheriff, then she would have killed 2 good people and both would have died. Yu rejected it. Who said number 9 is a good person? Su Yang raised his eyes slightly and looked at Yu. Yu's eyes suddenly widened. She is a stupid bird. Number 2 is a wolf, number 5 is a wolf, number 8 is a wolf. She is the falcon, number 7 is the vulture, and the only thing missing is a bird. Yu initially believed that Su Yang was a fool and claimed that he had figured out all the neutral identities. But the only thing missing is the crucial number 9. Number 9 and number 13 are definitely 2 cards that have met before. As the sheriff, she has the responsibility and obligation to charge, so when she knows the identity of number 9, she will take the risk to kill number 9 and get away with it. Su Yang said. Then why did she choose to become you? The fat man asked curiously. Su Yang smiled and said, in her heart, I am the messenger of justice. I guess she just wants me to be on the table to block the assassin's gun. It's still not right. Yu felt something was wrong. Since you are a werewolf, why did you kill Johan who is also a werewolf? The fat man looked at the player who caught the bomb for him, his face full of confusion. He's too aggressive. He tried to kill me several times. A werewolf teammate like him is a nuisance. Should I keep him alive for the new year? Su Yang glanced at Xiang Hao, who looked thoughtful, and continued, there is another reason. I wanted to prove that I was a good guy, but I didn't expect the sheriff to be dead. This is great news for werewolves. So I changed my mind temporarily and decided to play with Ming Lang directly. Xiang Hao's face was full of heavy expression. So you would think of voting for number 1 during the voting phase. Of course, besides the sheriff, the werewolf's biggest enemy is the falcon. Su Yang nodded slightly. So you are a werewolf. I was so blind to believe you. The fat man pointed at Su Yang angrily, feeling a sense of betrayal and shame in his heart. Hearing this, Guo Bing smiled for the first time in a long time. Welcome back, my good teammate. Fraud was launched successfully, you have obtained the identity of the werewolf camp, professional killer, good guys can't see the players you killed, and will automatically call the police when they get close to the corpse. Yu Yu's face was extremely ugly, and she said coldly, if I had known this would happen, I should have killed you from the beginning. You want to raise me as a pig to do things for you so that you can get more attention. But unfortunately, you would rather believe in your talent than so-called common sense. Su Yang pulled the safety of his pistol and pointed it directly at Yu Yu. These words touched Yu Yu's heart. She indeed had great confidence in her talent. If it weren't for the eye of true vision, she would have died in the first round of the death game. Therefore, even when she saw Su Yang had a gun, she thought it was due to the latter's talent. The talent to summon firearms, that's all. Chapter 32. Kill her, if we kill her we will win. Guo Bing said excitedly. Once Falcon dies, there are 2 werewolves and 2 good guys without guns on the field. You can slaughter at will. Yu Yu's shooting cooldown time is still 10 minutes, and Guo Bing also has a 10-minute cooldown time. There are still 20 minutes before the meeting starts. During this period, they couldn't go anywhere, and even if they returned to the church, they would be lambs to be slaughtered. The safe zone will not appear before 9 p.m. Therefore, Su Yang is now the god who controls life and death and decides their fate. I misjudged you. I didn't expect that someone ranked over 2000th would have such deep scheming and plans. Yu Yu closed his eyes in despair, waiting for death to come. Obviously, she had no means of counterattack. There is no other chance of escape except running. But how can a person's running speed compare to the speed of a bullet? As long as the player is not killed in one shot, Su Yang can shoot as many times as he wants until he kills a player, then the cooldown period will begin. Damn it, there are only 2 wolves left in the end. Xiang Hao clenched his fists, feeling powerless. A wolf got out in the first meeting, and he was very happy. The probability of the good guys winning was very high. But the next day, when Yu Yu confronted Guo Bing, he was also very happy because the good guy had caught another wolf. But the appearance of a bomb at the scene caused the situation to take a turn for the worse. The sheriff appeared, took away a good man, and was punished by the rules and died. The good guy only has 1 gun left, but there are at least 2 wolves and a falcon outside. The second meeting ended in a ridiculous tie, with no votes of neutral or below being cast. Finally, a barbed wolf appeared and killed everyone by surprise. Each of us is just being clever. Xiang Hao laughed at himself. Isn't he the arrogant one? The fat man glared at Su Yang and shouted, since you are a wolf, you might as well not save me. You should have let me die long ago. Giving hope brings despair. Falling from heaven to the bottom of the valley is the most miserable situation in life. The fat man was still thinking that he had saved his life and would definitely repay Su Yang if he had the chance. He never imagined that the person who saved him was actually a hidden wolf, and now he has to endure the torment of the countdown of his life. If we don't take the bomb, how can we kill the couple? Su Yang said with a smile on his face. You are not a human, you are a beast. The fat man shouted with his eyelids twitching constantly. As he said this, he ran out of the factory like a madman. At this moment, amazing potential broke out, as fast as thunder. Go to hell, idiot! Su Yang changed direction, aimed at the fat man's back and pulled the trigger. Bang! The fat man seemed to have been hit hard. His bloated body slid forward several meters due to inertia, and finally fell to the ground, unable to move. The next moment, the corpse mysteriously disappeared before everyone's eyes. Everyone was shocked, remembering the abilities of a professional killer. Why don't you kill number 1, but this loser? Guo Bing asked loudly with a look of confusion on his face. As long as Su Yang kills Yu Yu, he will win. Why waste time and give her a chance to cool down and get better? Now the werewolf's win rate has dropped directly from 100% to 50%. How can Guo Bing not be angry? Yu Yu heard the gunshot but didn't feel any pain. She slowly opened her eyes, her face full of confusion. Why don't you kill me? It would be boring to kill you directly. How about we play a battle royale? Su Yang looked crazy. Battle royale? Xiang Hao had an ominous premonition. Yes, you two run away and we two chase you, and see if we can end the game before the final meeting begins. Su Yang grinned. Why? Guo Bing was puzzled. Number 1 just reminded me that I have very few points. If I want to climb into the top 100, I must unlock enough achievements and get a higher score. Su Yang explained. Guo Bing was stunned at first, then he revealed a sinister smile. You've thought it through. If we kill all of them, we can get at least 20 more points. Guo Bing was eager to try. He had tasted the pleasure of killing, and it made him unable to stop. Winning or losing is no longer important now. In Guo Bing's mind, 2 guns against 1 gun, this is a sure win. As for the gun in Yu Yu's hand, he didn't think he would die. His physical fitness was much better than Su Yang's, and he had enough experience in handling guns. Winning the game is one thing, but getting into the top 100 is the most important thing. When the calculation is completed after 12 days, all players outside the top 100 will die. Therefore, every player must not only win, but also win beautifully. Let's start. You have 5 minutes to escape. After 5 minutes, Su Yang smiled, begin the chase. Let's go. Xiang Hao turned around and ran without hesitation. Yu Yu looked at Su Yang deeply, clenched his gun and left the factory. After the two left, Guo Bing patted Su Yang on the shoulder and said with admiration, "You are so insidious and cunning that you have hidden your identity for so long. If it weren't for your brilliant idea, I might have died in the meeting." After saying that, Guo Bing looked at Kong Feixiu's body with a greedy look on his face. What a pity, if I could play with her, this game would be perfect. There are still 5 minutes left, you can play now. Su Yang blinked. The smile on Guo Bing's face froze, and he shook his head and said, "I don't have a hobby of RG corpses, brother, stop joking. How long will it take for your CD to be ready?" Su Yang asked. 5 minutes. I'm 5 minutes behind you, you can catch up first later. I can't wait any longer. Guo Bing pinched his knuckles, extremely excited. Outside the police station, Yu Yu and Xiang Hao ran until they were exhausted and stopped to catch their breath. Now we can only cooperate, otherwise neither you nor I will have a chance of winning. Yu Yu wiped the sweat off his forehead. Why should I cooperate with Falcon? Xiang Hao panted. Don't you understand the situation on the field? They are 2 werewolves with 2 guns. If we don't cooperate, we will be defeated one by one. Yu Yu said in a deep voice. Xiang Hao was silent. Indeed, he was the messenger of justice, and he only had 1 bullet, which had just been fired. In other words, this weapon is useless and has no effect at all. I don't have any weapon. Am I supposed to help you block the bullet? Xiang Hao frowned. Don't you realize that this is a game with a high degree of freedom? Yu Yu asked. What do you mean? Explain yourself clearly. Xiang Hao didn't have time to play guessing games with her. Why do you have to shoot to kill someone? You can just as well kill someone with your fist. A gleam of light flashed in Yu Yu's eyes. Xiang Hao was startled and clenched his fists as if he had discovered a new continent. Are you sure? The rules don't say you can't kill people with your fists or other instruments. It's just that some professions have guns, which gives them a greater advantage, said Yu Yu. Xiang Hao is a veteran, he is not afraid of anyone in hand-to-hand combat. Why should I trust you? It's very simple. You deal with one and I kill one. In the end, it's just you and me. My gun will go into CD, so you still have a great chance of winning. Yu Yu threw out the temptation. Xiang Hao's expression changed as he thought about the feasibility of the plan. Each of them will deal with a wolf, and eventually the falcon moment will be triggered. He had already figured out Yu Yu's talents and skills, so he was not afraid that she would use any unexpected tricks. A strong man in his 30s facing a woman in her early 20s, he believes he can win. I promise you, what's the plan? Xiang Hao nodded in agreement. Yu Yu raised her lips in satisfaction, you lead Guo Bing away, I will kill Su Yang. Okay. Xiang Hao nodded heavily. The two of them high-fived and prepared to face the coming pursuit. Chapter 33. 5 minutes passed in a flash. Guo Bing's ability cooldown ends, and the bullet is loaded. Go ahead, you only have 15 minutes. Su Yang said. I know. Kill Yu Yu first and leave the other one for you. Guo Bing smiled coldly, and the scar on his face twitched as his facial muscles moved like a worm. If you can't find anyone, you should know what to do. Su Yang said as he watched him leave. Don't worry, wait for my good news. Guo Bing waved his hand and laughed wildly, the werewolf slaughter feast has officially begun. After he left, Su Yang looked at the two bodies lying on the ground. Kong Feixiu was shot to death. I saw it with my own eyes and there is no doubt about it. Cheng Yura's death seemed to be caused by a gunshot wound in the abdomen. The blood had already coagulated and turned into a black and red blood clot. The eyeballs had been dug out by Kong Feixiu, the skin had turned pale, and obvious corpse spots appeared at the rear end of the limbs. Judging from the time when Yu went out at night, the time of death should be 12 hours ago. Su Yang touched the arm of the corpse and found it was stiff. This is a common state of rigor mortis. He turned the body over, opened the clothes and checked the back, and found that due to the influence of gravity, corpse spots also appeared on the back. The bullet hit the abdomen and then exited from the back, leaving a hole the size of a fist. The flesh was turned inside out and the skin tissue was torn. From the outside, this seemed like a perfectly normal way to die from being shot. But when Su Yang thought carefully about Kong Feixiu's performance when eating the task props, he found something wrong. When vultures eat a corpse, according to the rules, they should make the judgment the moment they enter the body. Su Yang looked at the corpse spots on the body and fell into deep thought. Kong Feixiu moved quickly and completed the action before the three men opened fire. But the game did not end, instead the vulture was killed. This doesn't make sense. At that moment, Su Yang noticed this while feeling relieved. Could it be that she didn't eat No 3's body? Su Yang frowned. No, Johan wouldn't lie to her about this. If number 3 was not eaten by Kong Feixiu, then number 14 must be the murderer. And he must be a professional killer or a bird-eating duck. From the information Johan revealed before his death, it can be inferred that Kong Feixiu only recognized one wolf. Since this is not true, then where exactly is the problem? Su Yang did not suspect that there was a bug in the game. This is not a game created by typing codes, but a world controlled by the Supreme Being. No one is exempt from the rules. Just as Su Yang touched the wound, he suddenly heard an extremely subtle sound. The voice was so soft that he even suspected he was hallucinating. Su Yang took a deep breath and slowly leaned over Cheng Yura, closing his eyes and listening. Thumping. Really? He heard it. This was not the noise coming from the factory, but the real sound of a heart beating. Thumping, here we go again. Su Yang was not mistaken, this was a signal sent by the human body. He slowly stood up and looked at the corpse in front of him with shock. An incredible thought suddenly appeared in my mind. Cheng Yura is not dead? She faked her death. No wonder the game didn't end after Kong Feixiu ate the quest item. It turns out that what she ate was not a corpse, but the eyeballs of a living person. All of this made sense. Cheng Yura had somehow managed to fake her own death. She tried to get away with it and allowed Yu to lure her here and kill her. Su Yang was stunned, then took a few steps back, his heart suddenly tightening. There is a bigger conspiracy behind all this. The most terrifying thing is that she could actually endure the pain for such a long time, and endured the pain, and had her eyeballs dug out by Kong Feixiu without making a sound. Who is she? Why does she do this? These were the only two questions left in Su Yang's mind. Obviously, she must have had her own intention and strategy for faking her death. The goal is definitely victory. One faked death even fooled the mandatory meeting. This method is not impossible, just as in the Liar's Tavern, Guo Xiaoyun cheated the rules by manipulating the size of his limbs. Su Yang was shocked because he saw something very terrifying. Cheng Yura's body was seen bent at a strange angle, her spine arched into a half-moon, and the corpse spots on her body were fading rapidly. The skin became rosy again, the wound on the abdomen was still there, but the heart had resumed beating normally. Hey! Cheng Yura suddenly opened her eyes and took a long breath. It seems like he is adapting to his reborn body. Alive! Su Yang subconsciously took a few steps back. He had only seen this kind of scene on TV. Those who were bitten to death by zombies were in the same state after they turned into zombies. Cheng Yura took a few breaths, turned her head, and stared at Su Yang with her only remaining eyeballs, with a strange smile on the corner of her mouth. The next moment, she supported herself on the ground with her legs and walked towards Su Yang with her upper body bent. The posture is very similar to the walking movement of a strange species. Are you a human or a ghost? Su Yang pulled out the slide, took off the safety and was about to shoot her in the head. But when he actually pulled the trigger, he reacted. The cooldown period isn't over yet. As for me, of course I am a human. Cheng Yura spoke in human language, her voice was very hoarse, like the sound of metal friction. Don't move, I'll shoot if you come any closer. Su Yang kept backing away. Stop lying. Your bullets are still on cooldown. You can't kill anyone, right? Cheng Yura laughed. The once pleasant voice now sounded like the sound of cutting wood. Very harsh. My CD will be ready soon. In your current condition, you probably won't be able to get back to the church on time for the meeting, right? Su Yang's mind was racing. Is she a werewolf? Wrong. Johan is definitely the bum wolf, and Guo Bing is the assassin wolf. Number 14 is the werewolf who was cast away. It is impossible for 4 wolves to appear on a board with 16 people. What's more, if she was a wolf, there would be no need to hide it or fake her death to deceive people. There is no need to press Su Yang step by step. Why should I go to the meeting? I've been waiting for you for so long. Cheng Yura's body made a cracking sound, and her bent spine miraculously recovered. She straightened her upper body, her blood-stained face looked like a ghost, extremely creepy. Especially the smile on her face, which made her look even more terrifying. Wait for me? The werewolf is already sure to win, you don't need to struggle anymore. Su Yang tried to get valuable information out of her. Really? Then just stand there and don't move. The blood pumped by Cheng Yura's heart flowed to her whole body, and her muscles gradually got rid of stiffness and regained their original ability to move. She took a few steps towards Su Yang, her movements no different from those of an ordinary person. This also proves that she successfully ended her state of suspended animation and turned back into a normal person. Standing still? Su Yang thought of countless possibilities, but he only missed the number of camps on the board. At first, everyone gathered in front of the stone tablet to check the identity introduction. But no one knows the distribution of numbers in each camp. It's just that the fat guy said there were 3 wolves and 3 neutrals, and then everyone had a preconceived idea that this was how it should be. In fact, Su Yang never had any doubts about this. But now, when he heard Cheng Yura's words, he suddenly woke up. Combining what Cheng Yura has done, we can draw a conclusion. Su Yang's pupils shrank slightly. Are you a pigeon? Chapter 34. Pigeons, infect every player in a round to win. Congratulations, you guessed it right. Cheng Yura pressed forward step by step, her voluptuous figure fully displayed under the tights. If you don't look at this face, she is indeed the most beautiful woman in the world. But Su Yang had no time to pay attention to these things at the moment. He just wanted to deal with this sudden change. Indeed, if Cheng Yura was a dove, she must have made a complete plan before choosing to end her fake death at this time. Are you willing to sacrifice an eyeball just to wait for everyone to leave the factory? Su Yang tightly grasped the pistol and glanced at the CD quietly. 2 minutes and 19 seconds. You guys are such scheming people. If I don't do this, how can I survive to the end? Cheng Yura seemed to see that Su Yang was stalling for time. She slowly walked to the factory gate and slammed it shut. In an instant, the entire factory fell into darkness. Su Yang secretly thought that something was wrong, his pupils dilated, and he tried to adapt to the dark environment. You have no chance of winning. Guo Bing will kill the falcon soon. Su Yang listened to the footsteps and identified Cheng Yura's location. No, you're the last player I haven't infected. I only need to touch you once and the game will be over. Cheng Yura's voice was very soft, and the distance between them gradually shortened. What? Su Yang retreated violently as if facing a formidable enemy. Suddenly, his heel hit a hard object and he was startled by the pain. I have to thank you for not killing Falcon number 1, otherwise I would have become a real corpse. Cheng Yura suddenly changed direction and walked from Su Yang's east. It can be seen that she is very familiar with the layout of the factory. During the time she pretended to be dead, she did not just wait, but memorized the locations of various equipment and obstacles in the factory. In other words, even in a dark environment, Cheng Yura's mobility must be more than 10 times stronger than Su Yang's. Just touch him once to activate his infection ability and the game is over. It seems that all of us have misjudged you. We thought you were just a woman who sold her body in exchange for shelter, but we didn't expect that this was just part of your plan. Su Yang felt extremely tormented. When vision is lost, hearing and smell become extraordinarily acute. He could feel that Cheng Yura was not far away from him. Do you think I don't know that the 3 of you were peeping outside the bathroom last night? Cheng Yura's voice suddenly came from the west. So you invited you to the factory as a trick. Su Yang looked suddenly to the west and moved in another direction. Of course, I guessed that she had bad intentions and must want to use this time difference to frame Guo Bing. It's really fun to watch you two fighting each other, hee hee. Bang! Su Yang kicked a steel pipe, bent over to pick it up, and asked cautiously, when did you put the number 4? You were not there at the time, and I forgot to tell you that number 4 and I were the ones who distributed the food in the evening. Cheng Yura's voice became closer. No wonder. Xiang Hao reacted so strongly to Cheng Yura's death. In his heart, this woman was gentle and kind, and she was killed innocently, so he must have been extremely angry. This is why he tried to stop Yu from killing Guo Bing. He could guess that the murderer must not be the latter. The so-called selling oneself was just an opportunity to infect Guo Bing and did not arouse suspicion. Compared to you, Kong Feixiu's scheming is totally on a different level. Su Yang smelled a faint smell of blood, and he realized that the two of them were very close. He needs a chance to escape. I admit that she is much prettier than me, but who can I blame if she can't let go of her self-esteem? Cheng Yura did not feel ashamed of this. On the contrary, I was extremely excited. Yes, you have tricked all of us, including Yu. Su Yang vaguely saw a figure moving in the darkness. Very close. 5 meters difference. You're not bad. If I hadn't planned ahead of time, you might have fooled everyone and become the final winner. What a pity, you are one step behind. After all, you are still too young. Whoosh! Suddenly, a sound of breaking through the air was heard, and Su Yang squatted down subconsciously. Bang! The sound of a hard object hitting a machine was heard, and Su Yang recognized it as the steel pipe thrown by Cheng Yura. Give up, you have no chance of winning. Really? Su Yang saw a black shadow rushing towards him and threw the steel pipe out with force. As the dull sound and screams rang out simultaneously, Su Yang rushed towards the door. The moment Cheng Yura closed the door, he memorized the direction of the door. You can't run away. Cheng Yura endured the pain and chased after him screaming. With tension and panic intertwined, adrenaline surged and the heart rate approached 180. While running, I could even hear the sound of my heart beating next to my ears. Boom! Su Yang bumped into the door, grabbed the steel bars on the door with both hands, and pulled hard. The sunlight cunningly sneaked in through the gap, illuminating the dark factory. The first thing that caught my eye was Cheng Yura, who had a crazy look on her face and was rushing towards me with her teeth and claws bared. Su Yang dodged her touch narrowly and ran out of the factory. He glanced at the CD, 20 seconds left. Looking back, he found that Cheng Yura's running speed was not slower than his, and was even a little faster. I am the final winner, none of you deserve it. Cheng Yura screamed, and the muscles in her legs suddenly bulged. She is an athlete. Su Yang was shocked and immediately ran towards the pier. I thought my physical fitness was already good, but I didn't expect that Cheng Yura was also a hidden good runner. This is why I keep wearing tight sportswear and shorts. Su Yang tried his best, but failed to widen the gap, and instead shortened the distance by several meters. You have to know that Cheng Yura is seriously injured now, but she can still maintain this explosive power. If it were in its heyday, it would definitely be a human-shaped cheetah. Su Yang just ran to the door of the warehouse and caught a glimpse of two people fighting inside. One of them had his carotid artery strangled by an arm, and his gun-holding hand was entangled by his legs. His face turned purple and his eyes rolled up. The other man was lying behind him, his veins exposed, roaring angrily. The two people were Guo Bing and Xiang Hao. Su Yang was stunned. He didn't expect that a man with a gun would be entangled by a man with bare hands. Guo Bing, what the hell are you doing? Do it! Su Yang shouted. At this time, Guo Bing was no longer able to reply, his life was hanging by a thread, and his head was dizzy. When Xiang Hao heard Su Yang's voice, he looked up and suddenly saw a crazy woman running wildly. When I looked closely, I found that it was Cheng Yura. Yuro, are you still alive? Xiang Hao was stunned. However, during this moment of daze, Guo Bing seemed to have a last burst of energy, raised his pistol with difficulty, and reached behind him. Seeing this, Xiang Hao's eyes were bloodshot. He picked up the shovel beside him and smashed it hard on his head. Bang! Bang! The skull was smashed and the gunshots rang out at the same time, and the scene suddenly fell into deathly silence. Chapter 35. Red and white things spurted out, dyeing the ground red. Guo Bing never thought that he would be ambushed, and during the fight he was choked by Xiang Hao without even firing a gun. His original idea was to look for Yu Yu, but he ran into Xiang Hao on the way and changed his mind. Unexpectedly, it was this spur-of-the-moment decision that cost him his life. At the same time, Xiang Hao's throat was pierced by a bullet, his trachea was broken, and he just kept covering his throat and struggling. The good guys and the werewolves die together, and the ending is truly dramatic. FK. Su Yang cursed in his heart, and suddenly saw Chang Yura was only 2 meters away from him. Do you really think I'm made of clay? You're looking for death. Su Yang had never felt so frustrated in a game before. He drew his gun in anger and pulled the trigger. At this moment, Chang Yura pounced like a cheetah, and the distance between them was close in an instant. Just as her fingertips were about to touch Su Yang's back, a black gun barrel suddenly appeared in front of her. Then a familiar flash of fire appeared, and time seemed to stop at that moment. Bang! The bullet hit Chang Yura's head, smashing it to pieces. His body continued to rush forward due to inertia and suddenly fell into Su Yang's arms. Su Yang sat down on the ground, his face covered with cold sweat. Get lost! He pushed Chang Yura's body hard, and a suffocating palpitation echoed throughout his body. The uncontrollable shaking of the legs was not caused by the murder. It was the shock of escaping with a life by chance at the critical moment. Su Yang was tricked by Chang Yura and fell into a trap. If she hadn't been seriously injured, if she hadn't been hit in the abdomen. At this moment, the game is over. He hated himself for not noticing the clues earlier, and why he didn't notice that something was wrong with Kong Feixiu eating the mission items earlier. 1,000-mile-long dike is destroyed by an ant hole. He looked at the overall situation, used people as chess pieces, but ignored a small ant beside his feet. A pigeon has forced me into a desperate situation. Su Yang laughed in silence. Arrogant people are most likely to capsize in the ditch. Just as Su Yang stood up, the blue stone pavement under his feet suddenly turned blood red, and the surrounding buildings were also stained with blood. The sun in the sky turned into a blood moon, and the air was filled with an evil aura. Falcon time, start. The meeting is cancelled. Please shoot the player Falcon within 30 minutes. In this state, you cannot call the police, enter the meeting, or complete the mission. If Falcon survives after 30 minutes, then Falcon wins. You lose. Before Su Yang could react, a hard object hit the back of his head. Yu Yu's voice came, still as cold as before. So you have been watching secretly. Guo Bing's death must have been part of your plan, right? Su Yang spoke slowly. Give me the gun. Yu Yu exerted a little force and Su Yang lowered his head. Why didn't you shoot? My bullets were running low, and I had no power to resist. Stop talking nonsense and hand over the gun. Yu Yu said coldly. Just as Su Yang was about to turn around, he was met with Yu Yu's shout, Don't move, or I'll shoot you in the head. You and I are friends, why do we have to go to this extent? Su Yang handed the pistol behind him. Yu Yu took it and threw it out to Su Yuan without even looking at it. You are so conceited that you think we are all fish on the chopping block, but in fact you are the loser. Yes, I was tricked by Chang Yura, and you seized the opportunity. Su Yang looked calm and looked straight ahead. I should thank you for killing this pigeon that pretended to be dead, and thank you for letting me live. A smile finally appeared on Yu Yu's gloomy face. But this smile had a hint of sarcasm. Unfortunately, Su Yang had his back to him and had no chance to see it. If I had known this would happen, I should have killed you at the beginning. Su Yang said. You don't dare. If you kill someone at the beginning, you will be exposed. Then the person who will be voted out will not be number 14, but you. The stupid bird was supposed to be thrown out, but I didn't do it because I was afraid of getting shot. You're still lying when you're about to die. Yu Yu looked annoyed. She could not vaguely forget that she was used as a chess piece by Su Yang. After setting up the plan for so long, it almost failed in the end. I guess you're holding off on taking action because you want to wait until the Falcon moment ends so that you can automatically win the game. Su Yang asked. Yu Yu said nothing, but her silence gave the answer. Su Yang smiled and said, It seems that you are also eager for points. In fact, you are the same as me. We are both inhumane executioners with murderous thoughts in our heads. Shut up, I don't want to listen to you. Yu Yu felt irritated when she heard Su Yang's confident voice. She didn't understand why he could still be so calm when he had fallen to this point. When you saw me, a fool, showing off my gun, you probably thought, my talent must be related to guns. Su Yang seemed to see through her inner thoughts. Stop pretending, your low-level tricks can't fool me. Yu Yu's eyes flashed with ferocity. Actually, you guessed it right. My talent is really firearms. Fraud talent is activated successfully, you get the new talent firearms. Autonomously summon any firearm, activation condition, snap your fingers, duration 1 minute, cooldown 24 hours. Su Yang smiled and said calmly, not only can I summon firearms, but I can also control other people's firearms. If you say one more word, I will kill you right now. Yu Yu's patience had been worn out. Su Yang gave her the feeling of a shrewd fox, who remained calm even when faced with life and death. She wanted to take advantage of the falcon moment to score more points. Now it seems that those 10 points are not worth it. You don't believe it. Su Yang snapped his fingers and said as he turned around, there are no bullets in your gun. Fraud talent is activated successfully, player Yu Yu's pistol magazine is empty. It's ridiculous. You are a professional killer and a stupid bird. Now you bring up a talent for firearms. You really have no bottom line when it comes to lying. Yu Yu sneered. What she hated most was Su Yang's smiling face, as if everything was under control. It was as if this game was tailor-made for him. I wanted you to enjoy the last 20 minutes of your life, but since you are shameless, go to hell. However, just as she pulled the trigger, she heard a click sound. What's going on? Yu Yu pressed the button several times, but the imagined gunshot did not occur. The smile on Su Yang's face became even wider, seeming particularly out of place in this bloody world. It seemed that he was the falcon, and Yu Yu was just a toothless rabbit. Now, do you believe it? Su Yang casually glanced at the Browning 1911 lying not far away. That was the gun he had just handed over. Yu Yu caught this detail, rolled over and picked up the pistol, aimed at Su Yang's head and pulled the trigger. Crack! This is impossible. Yu Yu's face was full of shock. Chapter 36. Ha ha ha. Su Yang laughed out loud, his laughter was full of teasing and mockery. Yu Yu was extremely anxious, like an ant on a hot pan. She took out the magazines of 2 pistols one after another and was surprised to find that both were empty. It was easy to understand why Su Yang's pistol had an empty magazine, after all, he had just fired a shot a few minutes ago. But in the nearly half an hour since Yu Yu came out of the factory, he had not killed anyone. This means that she is in the state of CD ending. But why, where are my bullets? Where did the bullets go? Yu Yu looked confused, with Su Yang's laughter echoing in her ears. She suddenly realized something, raised her head abruptly, and said with a face full of resentment, "It's you. You stole my bullet, give it back to me." As she spoke, she rushed up screaming, with madness all over her face. Su Yang kicked her away and said slowly, "BCH, don't be so shameless." Yu Yu held her head, unable to accept the fact. She didn't understand why she, as a falcon with a gun, couldn't kill anyone. What was even more incomprehensible was that Su Yang just snapped his fingers and the bullets in the pistol flew away without wings. Your talent is really firearms? Then why? Yu Yu clenched her teeth, her eyes full of confusion. Why am I a stupid bird and also a professional killer? Su Yang had his signature smile on his face. No, none of them are right. Yu Yu staggered and almost fell to the ground. She looked at the ground in confusion, then at the pistol she was holding. It seems to capture something, but it feels unrealistic. I'm Die Bird, and I'm also a professional killer. What I called the camouflage talent was actually a lie to you. Su Yang said. How can a player have 2 professions at the same time? Yu Yu said in disbelief. Isn't there a rule saying no? Su Yang asked back. But, this is not fair. Yu Yu gritted her teeth. Dai Niao not only holds a gun, but is also a professional killer. Doesn't this mean that he has 2 winning camps and identities? Werewolf, neutral. Is this fair? Actually, I am a god. Do you believe it? Su Yang squatted down and said with a smile. It's ridiculous. How can you be a god? You're just a lucky plaything. Yu Yu's most hated expression appeared again. You never believe what I say, so you are destined to lose. Su Yang looked at her face full of grief and anger. As if he was going to do something to her. But Su Yang knew very well that for a girl with a gloomy face, even if she is beautiful, I can't arouse any interest in her. Look at these bloody buildings around you. You seem to have forgotten that the falcon is still here, and your pistol is in my hand. Yu calmed down and silently retreated a few meters. Keep a safe distance from Su Yang and don't give him any chance to snatch the pistol. The falcon needs to be shot, which is indeed difficult. Su Yang touched his chin. I admit that you are smart, and I admit that your luck is better than mine, or even better than anyone else in this game, but so what? Yu regained control and cleared the haze in her heart. Su Yang has already activated the power of the gun, and now he has no choice but to use words to break her defense. Nothing else can be done. This is the charm of Falcon time. It was also the result of his own actions. I remember, there was another gun on the scene. Su Yang looked at the corpse in the warehouse, his eyes fixed on the pistol in Guo Bing's hand. Don't even think about it. Yu sprinted with all his strength, rushed into the warehouse and grabbed Guo Bing's pistol into his arms. What about now? Yu turned around and looked at Su Yang, who was in shock, with a smug smile. I didn't expect you to work so hard. This is not like you normally. Su Yang shook his head. You should never have organized a so-called battle royale. You lost because you were too arrogant. Yu breathed a sigh of relief. The twists and turns of events made her exhausted. Now I just want it to be over soon, so I can go back to my cell and have a good sleep. As for the points reward, it will definitely not be bad. I'll tell you a secret. Su Yang walked over her slowly. Don't give me that shit, I don't believe a word you say. Yu simply covered her ears. Actually, I'm not just a stupid bird or a professional killer, I'm also a pelican. Su Yang said. Fraud talent is activated successfully, you get the new faction identity Pelican. As soon as the words fell, the surrounding blood-red buildings suddenly turned a touch of avocado green. The red and green world seemed quite strange, with a more inexplicable sense of joy than before. At the same time, Yu received a prompt in her mind. Pelican time, on. Please shoot the player Pelican within 30 minutes. In this state, you cannot call the police, enter the meeting, or complete the mission. If the Pelican survives after 30 minutes, the Pelican wins. What? Yu's eyes widened in disbelief. You know, the Pelicans and Falcons cannot coexist in the same game. There are no Pelicans when there are Falcons. There are Pelicans but no Falcons. But what did she hear now? There was a Pelican moment. Su Yang or Pelican? Yu suddenly felt that her brain was not enough. His talent with firearms is outrageous. In addition to the dumb bird, he also got a new neutral identity. And it appeared in the middle, with no prompt before. Could it be? Yu's body trembled as she thought of a terrible possibility. Bang! Su Yang snapped his fingers, and suddenly a Beretta Classic double-barrel shotgun, S686 appeared in his hand. You wanted to see my talent, didn't you? Can you see it clearly now? Yu Etang stood up suddenly, his eyes full of confusion and shock. What is going on here? You just activated your talent. How long has it been since then? Actually, I just lied to you. Snapping my fingers is just a habit. Su Yang said seriously. No, don't come over here. Yu was forced into a corner of the warehouse by Su Yang, with her facial features twisted into a ball. The moment she saw the shotgun, her cerebellum shrank. The sudden changes one after another caused her worldview to collapse. How can a player have 3 identities at the same time? How can one possess 2 talents at the same time? Yu suddenly remembered what Su Yang said, I am actually a god. She had originally scoffed at this, but now, she believed it a little. Are you, really a god? Yu was silent for a long time and asked sincerely. In a world where there are only you and me, you can understand it this way. Su Yang said. After saying this, Yu naturally wouldn't think that he was flirting with her. Although there are thousands of questions in my mind, at this moment, they are no longer important. Su Yang has mastered a weapon with great lethality. What chance does she have of turning the tables? Chapter 37. Throw all the guns over here. I don't want to say it a second time. Su Yang ordered. Yu did as she was told without any resistance or dissatisfaction. Su Yang kicked all the guns away and kept aiming the shotgun at her head. You can enjoy the last 10 minutes. Similarly, he also wants to unlock achievements and gain points. Killing now is killing, and killing 10 minutes later is also killing. The ending of the game is predetermined, so why not wait a little longer? Yu's hair was loose, hiding the expression on her face. After a moment, her shoulders twitched slightly and a sob came out. Why are you crying? Su Yang narrowed his eyes. Actually, I didn't think of killing anyone. Yu Yu's voice had a hint of tears in it. Who wants to kill someone? I just can't help it. Do you have parents? Yu Yu asked. Nonsense, did you pop out of a stone? Su Yang said unhappily. Before I was put in jail, I was drinking with my friends at KTV, and my parents suddenly called and told me to go home early. You know, when I was little, the phrase they told me the most was study hard. They said it every day in elementary school, middle school, and high school. I got tired of hearing it. When I went to college, they didn't allow me to go out and have fun, saying that doing so would lead to meeting bad people. But I'm already grown up, can't I tell who is a good guy and who is a bad guy? After graduation, they kept nagging me to go home before 10 o'clock every day, fearing that I would be kidnapped by bad guys. I am not allowed to smoke, I am not allowed to drink, I am not allowed to wear earrings. I really hate that they treat me like a little girl. Sometimes I wish they weren't my parents. Su Yang remained silent. He had never experienced what she had gone through and could not empathize with her. The memory of my parents is already vague. I just vaguely remember that the family sat around the dining table, talking and laughing while eating dinner. Later, they called me one after another, and I didn't answer any of them. I wanted to PS them off to death. Yu Yu recounted her experience that day. To her, it was like a brand engraved deep in her soul. Never erased. But you know what? I regret it now. I regret why I didn't go home earlier. Yu Yu's sobs became louder and louder. I miss them so much. I really miss them. At this point, Yu Yu raised her head, revealing a tearful face under her messy hair. Everything I did was just to see them again. But why, is it so difficult? Su Yang looked at her face and felt an inexplicable pain in his heart. Everyone has a reason to survive. Maybe it's family, maybe it's responsibility, maybe it's love. But in this strange world, just being alive is already a remarkable thing. Su Yang vaguely remembered what Yu Yu looked like when he first met her. He is full of thorns, and all he talks about is killing people, with violence revealed in his words. The whole person is like an unstable bomb that may explode at any time. I thought she was his natural executioner, but I didn't expect the reason behind it was so simple and direct. I just want to see my parents again. What seems like an ordinary wish is as difficult as ascending to heaven at this moment. I can't answer you because I'm also looking for the answer. Su Yang said. Do you think they are still alive? If they are alive, they will probably try their best to find their daughter. Yu Yu's eyes were filled with hope, but also a little timidity. As parents, how can you not love your own children? Su Yang was silent for a long time and then spoke. But I won't have the chance to see them again. Yu Yu smiled bitterly. Su Yang didn't want to say more about this. He is not qualified to judge everyone's life, nor is he qualified to be tolerant and generous. The falcon moment is over, the falcon player wins. The pelican moment is over, and the pelican player wins. The next moment, the sky seemed to be torn open, and all the blood red and green lights disappeared. The building returned to its original color, and the setting sun shone through the glass of the warehouse onto the ground, emitting bursts of golden orange light. It's time to get going. Su Yang said. Yu Yu closed her eyes. Bang! Church Afterglow game completed successfully. Player, Su Yang, performance rating, S achievement, no more than 1, reward 10 points achievement, triple identity, 10 points reward achievement, the last survivor, reward 10 points achievement, use Browning 1911 for the first time, reward 10 points achievement, use Beretta S686 for the first time, reward 10 points achievement, Pelican moment, reward 10 points achievement, complete the task for the first time, reward 10 points. Achievement, reversal moment, reward 10 points achievement, victory of the Die Bird, reward of 10 points achievement, victory of the Werewolf Camp, reward of 10 points personal score reward, 20 points clearance rewards, cold weapon gift pack, food gift pack, 300 points current points, 580. Please go to the church to complete the review. It's over. Su Yang breathed a sigh of relief. Walking out of the warehouse and looking at this quiet and beautiful town, he suddenly realized that he had not yet fully appreciated the scenery here. Then we came to the pier, looking at the sparkling blue bay, a wisp of salty sea breeze brushed across my cheeks, carrying the warmth of the sunset. The afterglow is indeed beautiful, but the price is too high. Su Yang returned to the church and found an envelope on the seat where he was sitting. He opened the envelope and took out the paper inside. The progress of this death game is recorded in detail, including all players' talents, identities, and each player's kill record. Number 3 is so miserable. He died before he could say a few words. It turns out that No 4's talent is speed enhancement. No wonder he can fight number 2 in close combat. Number 9 is a star walker? Then who killed her? Su Yang was a little surprised. He always thought number 9 was neutral. I kept looking down and found that the one who did it was number 2. Number 2 killed 2 people in a row on the first day, but number 14 was the one who took the blame. Su Yang laughed. The review shows that number 14 was indeed the wolf's. His identity is a bird-eating duck. No one was killed, he was just thrown out for having a drink in the old tavern. All we can say is that the value of the logic is still rising. At this time, he noticed an interesting point. Sun Wei's identity is an avenger, and his talent is magnification. Seeing this, Su Yang couldn't help but recall that when he was cleaning the warehouse yesterday, he suddenly smelled an extremely stinky odor. As soon as Sun Wei left, the stench was reduced tenfold. Yu also said that he was very hypocritical, and that it was Sun Wei's talent that was at work. I was wondering why I'm the only one who feels like vomiting when I smell it. Su Yang shook his head helplessly. He didn't understand why Sun Wei used his talent on him. If it simply slows down the pace of the mission, what good will it do him? If it weren't for this incident, they would have been able to complete the mission before number 9 died. In this way, number 9 might survive, and the person voted out in the first round might be number 2. The world is unpredictable and people's hearts are fickle. Su Yang put the paper back into the envelope. Just like the first time, it was burned after reading and turned into ashes. The reopening is over and I will exit soon. Chapter 38. The scene in front of him changed, and Su Yang was back in the cage in the blink of an eye. There was a familiar smell of stuffiness in the air, and he lay on the bed to relieve the fatigue from a day of high intensity and high energy consumption. Before he knew it, he fell asleep. In the dream, he entered a new death game and was chased by hundreds of people in the jungle. There was a hail of bullets and artillery fire. Not only is there the intrusion of poisonous circles, but there are also drones hovering in the sky. Su Yang took advantage of the terrain and killed more than 30 people, but in the end he was forced to face the encirclement of more than 50 people due to the approaching poison circle. He wanted to use his talent for fraud, but found that no one believed his lies. He is no longer omnipotent, nor is he the god of deception who can turn the game into his home court. In the end, countless bullets came from all directions and turned him into a sieve. With reluctance and despair, he fell to the ground and said goodbye to this world. No. Su Yang woke up suddenly, breathing heavily, and touched his body subconsciously. The pain I imagined did not appear, and what I felt was not blood, but cold sweat. It turned out to be just a dream. Su Yang walked into the bathroom and washed his face, and his mental state recovered a little. Looking up at the handsome face in the mirror, he couldn't help but recall the scene in his dream. So true. Every tree and every blade of grass is extremely clear. The immersive feeling makes your scalp tingle, and the smoke in the air and the blazing fire. Is this a preview of the future death game? Su Yang thought to himself. Familiar battle royale mechanism, poison circle and picking up supplies and gunfight. But one difference is that he will play the role of prey in the game, being hunted by 99 players. 1 vs 99. This is an unfair game no matter how you look at it. As the saying goes, 2 fists can't beat 4 hands, let alone 99 people. Dreams are all fake, this kind of thing can't happen. Su Yang calmed down and returned to bed. At this moment, he found that Lin Yang in the next cell seemed to have returned from the death game. He was staring at the wall blankly, not moving a muscle. Congratulations, you survived. Su Yang congratulated him. Lin Yang did not respond, but just kept mumbling something. What are you mumbling about? Su Yang asked. Lin Yang slowly turned his head, revealing a pale face, his eyes full of self-blame and torment. Su Yang, I killed someone. Who among those who have survived to this day doesn't have blood on their hands? What I said is, I killed an old man in his 80s and a 10-year-old child. Lin Yang looked at his hands with pain on his face, as if they were covered with sin. Su Yang was slightly stunned, and he suddenly remembered that everyone in the world was in the cage. This means that no matter whether male or female, young or old, the elderly, the infirm, women and children, even death row prisoners, pregnant women and terminally ill patients, all are inside. So far, he has never matched with the elderly or children, only ordinary adult men and women. That old couple is grandfather and grandson. He wanted to protect the child, but Lin Yang held his head, and the bloody scene kept appearing in his mind. He seemed to be overwhelmed by the murderous intent. At that moment, he didn't think much and just took action. When I realized it afterwards, the person was already dead. What game are you playing? Su Yang asked after a long silence. The name of the game is Ghost, and it's a game in which players pretend to be ghosts and kill people at night. I am the ghost, and the other 9 are humans. Lin Yang repeated in a deep voice. Then what? At first I was very excited. I had watched so many ghost movies, but I never thought I would become a ghost one day. Have you ever seen that kind of scene? The ghost hides in the mirror, and when someone is sitting in front of the mirror combing their hair, the ghost suddenly appears, drags the person into the mirror and kills him. Also, there are ghosts hiding in the well. If a human goes down to the bottom of the well, he will be dragged into the depths and killed by the ghosts. Su Yang thought about it carefully and realized that he had actually seen this type of ghost movie before, and all of them were scenes that took place in Huxia horror movies. It was indeed very scary and caused a lot of psychological trauma to me. Ghosts are all lies. There are no such things in the world. Su Yang said. Yeah, but when I turned into a ghost, I did this. Lin Yang raised his head suddenly, revealing a pair of bloodshot eyes. Seeing this scene, Su Yang couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. Lin Yang seemed to be too immersed in the role and had not yet come out of the ghost's shadow. Until now, his voice has been gloomy and hoarse. Did you kill everyone? Su Yang asked again. I want to get an S-level score and achieve more. I don't want to be eliminated, so. Lin Yang stopped abruptly. Su Yang could guess that the grandfather and grandson must be the last survivors. If the ghosts want to win perfectly, they must eradicate all humans. Similarly, if humans want to get all S scores, they have to kill the ghosts when they are fully staffed. To achieve S, you must reach 2 extremes. Kill them if you want. If you don't kill them, they will kill you. At this time, a female voice came from cell 212 on the right. Su Yang turned his head and saw the beautiful figure reappear, as if she had just returned from the death game. Still in the same posture, lying on his side on the bed, leaving only his back to the two of them. Do you understand the feeling of guilt? I am a human being, not an animal. Lin Yang shouted, with even more pain in his eyes. All those who feel guilty are killed. Only animals deserve to live. The woman said calmly. She adjusted her posture and continued, if you still have this so-called guilt in your heart, then die early in the next death game to avoid torturing yourself. Who are you calling a beast? Turn around and speak clearly. Lin Yang slammed the glass wall hard, veins on his neck bulging. The woman stopped talking, as if she didn't want to waste any more time talking to him. After thinking for a while, Su Yang said, what she said makes sense. We will definitely encounter similar situations in the future. If you want to live, you can't be soft-hearted. You have also lost your humanity. Lin Yang looked at him in disbelief. It's human nature that makes you act impulsively, isn't it? Su Yang looked into his eyes. Damn it! Lin Yang hammered the glass wall hard, sat on the bed, and quietly wiped away his tears. There's no need for me to prepare myself mentally with you. If I meet you in the game, I will never hesitate to kill you when it's time to do so. Su Yang said this and turned to walk towards the food cabinet. In his opinion, Lin Yang actually knew everything in his heart, but he just couldn't get over that hurdle. A person lives for more than 20 years, receives a good education, and develops sound values in a normal family. They are kind by nature and just treat it as a game at the beginning. But as I played it, I found that it had changed. The mentality has also quietly changed. If anyone still plays with the idea that peace and entertainment are the most important, he will definitely be the next to be eliminated. Of course, there are many people who are lucky, but who can have good luck forever. Su Yang's mentality had changed as early as the first level, so he showed no mercy when killing people. The second game is over, congratulations to the survivors. Chapter 39. Rewards have been issued, please check in your respective cages. Remaining players, 912-179-4590. The third game will start in 3 days. Changes in points ranking. Rewards have been issued, Please check in your respective cages. The prop rewards issued can be taken into the death game. Hundreds of millions of people died again. Su Yang's heart sank. The elimination rate was still high. If this trend continues, by the time the rankings are settled and reshuffled, with a survival ratio of 100:1, billions of people will inevitably die. The competition is too fierce. Not only do you have to win the death game, you have to win beautifully. Su Yang obtained a food gift package and a cold weapon gift package in the game. They were distributed to the cells together. Suddenly, a large box appeared behind him, and Su Yang couldn't wait to check it out. All I saw was a silver axe, with a plain surface and no patterns. He didn't know much about the craftsmanship. It was about 1 foot long and felt very light in the hand, about half a pound. It shouldn't be made of aluminum. Su Yang tried to swing it. It felt great when he chopped, as if it was integrated with his arm. He took out a lighter from the daily necessities, put it on the ground, and then chopped it down with an axe. Chi! In just a moment, he cut it in half without any hindrance. What a sharp axe! Su Yang's eyes lit up. Although he has never played with an axe, he has played with knives. If the kitchen knife is not sharpened, it will be difficult to cut meat with it, let alone cut this kind of thing. He also noticed that the broken end of the lighter was extremely smooth, and its sharpness must be greater than that of most cold weapons on the market. If it can be brought into the game, doesn't it mean that killing people becomes easier? Su Yang touched his chin. He has certain weaknesses in strength and skills, and cannot compare to those tall and strong fighters. But after years of exercise, he is not like a weakling that will fall down at the touch of a gust of wind. In addition, he also found that the newly distributed food gift packages had become richer. In addition to regular bread, we also gave away jam, condensed milk, boneless chicken feet, chocolate, and a self-heating pot. There are so many varieties, which one should I start with? Su Yang took a quick look and put a chocolate into his mouth. Chocolate is high in calories and sugar, and is the easiest food to replenish energy. He didn't plan to eat the rest of the snacks for the time being, for fear of getting diarrhea like Sun Wei. Second, I don't want to be overly addicted to pleasure. Only by keeping your nerves tense at all times can you maintain your condition at a high level. The ranking has also changed. Su Yang glanced at the electronic screen in the center of the second floor of the prison. Prison number 881 overall ranking first place, Qin Viang, points, 580, SS, second place, Luo Shuang, points, 580, SS, third place, Tang Duxing, points, 580, SS, fourth place, Zhou Yaling, points, 580, SS. Number 9, Su Yang, points, 580, SS. Number 5083, Li Lan, points, 420, DC, number of surviving players, 4,917, number of deaths, 5,083. After 11 days, the top 100 people will be able to leave the prison. 10 individuals who receive less than 2S ratings will be randomly selected every day and executed. Top 10. Su Yang's eyes lit up and he was secretly happy. Fortunately, he remembered the Pelicans in the second game, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to even make it into the top 100. You just need to maintain your ranking and play steadily in the next games to avoid being eliminated. What does it mean when a personal score is less than 2 SS? Su Yang frowned slightly. He noticed that there were 2 extra letters after each person's ranking. There are also 2 SS behind him. Could it be that the total score of the 2 games was marked up? Su Yang guessed. If the rules are followed, players ranked above 500 may be randomly selected. 500th place is just the watershed. All players above that are double S, while those below that are mixed. 10 people will be selected every day. 3 days of rest. A total of 30 people were executed. I don't accept it. I've finally survived to this day, why should I participate in the lottery? The player in the cell above protested in dissatisfaction. Damn it, playing games is annoying enough, and now I have to be selected. Who came up with this stupid idea? Administrator, come out here. I refuse to participate in the lottery. Protests filled the entire prison, with thousands of people venting their anger, mixed with the negative emotions they had accumulated during the 2 games. Lin Yang was also among them. He received an A grade the first time and an S grade the second time. Ranked 561, also in the draw. He was seen grabbing the iron pillar of the cell and yelling, if you want to kill someone, just say it directly, don't beat around the bush. Drawing players begins. At this moment, a broadcast suddenly came out. The protests gradually died down until they disappeared completely. Every player in the queue was extremely nervous, praying not to be picked. Execution, as the name suggests, means death. The only difference is that the person who bestowed their death changed from a player to a prison manager. Don't pick me, please. The man in the cell opposite Su Yang knelt and begged with an extremely pious look on his face. After a while, the radio sounded again. 118,5431,6899,4132,8760, the cell numbers were read out one by one, and the players whose names were called felt as if they had fallen into an icy cave, their faces as pale as paper. It's over, it's all over. After all 10 numbers were read out, the players who were not called burst into tears of excitement. This means they can live one more day. FK. Why me? I'm always A and S, am I that bad? I don't deserve to live after getting 2 A's? I've tried my best. However, protests were useless, as a door suddenly opened in the northeast corner of the player's floor. I saw the familiar bull demon slowly appear and walk towards the target cell. They skillfully pulled open the iron pillars and brought the players inside out, like carrying chickens, to the center of the first floor. From this position, everyone in the prison can see clearly. Don't touch me, get away. One person struggled desperately and refused to obey. However, his resistance seemed particularly humorous in front of the powerful bull demon. He used all his strength, but the bull demon didn't move at all. Players are in place, count down 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, the sound like the whisper of death echoed in every corner. At this moment, everyone held their breath and their eyes fell on these 10 players. If I had known this would happen, I shouldn't have spared your lives. One person laughed crazily, his voice revealing deep regret. Don't look at me, my fate will happen to you too, another person raised his head and shouted, his eyes full of unwillingness. 3, 2, 1, execution begins. Puff. All 10 heads were crushed, and the bodies fell to the ground, with blood all over the place. Even though the players present had experienced many storms before, some still found it hard to accept and screamed loudly. When Lin Yang thought about the possibility of this ending, he slid down weakly and collapsed to the ground. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Su Yang looked at the 10 corpses being dragged away by the bull demon with a solemn expression. The next game will become more and more brutal. To win beautifully, you have to be cruel at the same time. Because only by killing all players can you get the highest score. Chapter 40. Did you see it? This is the consequence of being soft-hearted. Will you choose to be a victim or a shameless beast? A female voice came from beside him, with a hint of sarcasm in her voice. Su Yang turned his head and saw Lin Yang holding the iron pillar, his eyes full of complexity and fear. The test of human nature is fully reflected at this moment, the choice between life and death. Either exchange your own life for someone else's. Or choose kindness and wait to be selected and executed. It's time to go to bed, all players, be quiet now. A sudden broadcast broke the silence, the lights went out immediately, and the entire prison fell into darkness. Su Yang looked at the blurry figure at 211 and gave up the idea of persuading him. There will never be an answer to such questions, but he knows that only by being selfish enough can he have the last laugh. Manager reappears and inspects the cells on each floor. Su Yang lay in bed unable to sleep, the scene of the execution constantly appearing in his mind. What is the purpose of the execution? To drive out bad money. The rules were added temporarily. The intention of the manipulators behind the scenes is obviously to force players to perform better in the death game. But everyone plays a different game, and the scoring criteria are different. Killing everyone is probably not the only criterion. If the game difficulty is different, it will be unfair to some players. 11 days later. Su Yang is now feeling more and more uncertain. After this experience, he felt that the entire prison was like a game with a large number of participants. Those who perform poorly may be killed, while those who perform well will receive better resources and life experiences. For example, if his personal score is high, he will get higher quality food. It also includes axes, which are the benefits brought by scoring. Divert the conflicts among players. A terrible thought emerged in Su Yang's mind. Obviously, at the beginning, all the players hated the mastermind who kidnapped them here. Most people in the game think about entertainment first, and everyone helps each other as long as they can survive. But with the addition of a condition that only the top 100 people can leave the prison, things changed. Now there is a new scoring rule. Players no longer hate the mastermind, but instead transfer their hatred to other people. What on earth does he want to do? Su Yang felt sleepy and closed his eyes unconsciously. 7 o'clock the next day. Administrator exits, all lights come on, people slowly get out of bed, wash up, and start a new day. Life in the cell is very boring. There are no short videos, no TV series to watch, and no entertainment. The only solace was chatting with the players in the adjacent cells. Some unlucky ones, with the cells on both sides empty, can only hide in the toilets silently and do shameful things. Su Yang came out after washing up and saw Lin Yang still sitting on the ground, in the same posture as yesterday. "Didn't you sleep all night?" Su Yang asked. Lin Yang was slightly startled, and slowly turned his head, revealing dark circles and bloodshot eyes. "You said that after 11 days, can we still return to the real world?" "I thought about this question yesterday," Su Yang said. Lin Yang looked at him quietly, waiting for what to come. Su Yang tore open the package and ate a piece of chocolate. Bitterness and sweetness intertwined in his mouth. Maybe, this is the only hope. Lin Yang opened his mouth, wanting to say something but stopping himself. He dragged his stiff body into the bathroom. After a while, bursts of crying were heard from inside. It is said that men shed blood but not tears, but at this time, Su Yang did not laugh, but just shook his head. At this moment, a scream suddenly came from the cell above. "Someone's dead. Someone committed suicide." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone immediately leaned forward in front of the door and looked towards the direction where the sound came from. I saw a man standing on the iron pillar of cell 64 on the 3rd floor, with his arms stretched out of the cell and a bloody dagger in his hand. There was a fatal knife wound on his neck and blood was gushing out. The wax ball-like eyes stared at the rankings, as if they were left with a desire for freedom. When did he die? Didn't the administrator stop it? Suicide is a personal choice. The administrator has nothing to do with it. He just wants more people to die. You've already overcome so many obstacles, why do you have to be so depressed? People had mixed opinions on this, but most of them just watched it for fun. Soon, the manager on the 3rd floor appeared, pulled open the iron pillar and dragged the body away. The number of survivors on the standings immediately decreased by 1, and the ranking changed. Su Yang noticed that the ranking of the 500th player had not changed. This means that the person who committed suicide was the player who did not get the double S. "Will you commit suicide?" the female player 212 suddenly asked. "Are you talking to me?" Su Yang turned his head to look. She was seen sitting on the ground with her hair tied up high, revealing her fair neck and beautiful profile. "Certainly. Won't." "Why? Why so many reasons?" "If you can't do it, you can't do it," Su Yang said. "If suicide could save the life of a loved one, would you do it?" the woman asked again. Su Yang pondered for a moment. If there is such a mechanism, then the death game will be meaningless, so this assumption is impossible. Isn't it tiring to live so rationally? It's tiring, but people have to have hope in life, otherwise what's the point of living? Hope. The woman suddenly fell silent. Su Yang looked at cell number 364 again. This suicide was just a fuse, and the situation would definitely get out of control. It all depends on the 3rd death game. He had a hunch that the 3rd death game would not achieve the results the players expected. Suicides will surely explode. It is better to end one's life than to be executed. Soon, the time came to 12 o'clock and a new round of lottery began. The players whose names were called out screamed and begged for mercy, but the administrator turned a deaf ear to them and killed them directly. If there were 10 fewer people on the standings, the entire prison would be plunged into fear. What's more, they are looking forward to the arrival of the death game. I thought, this way I wouldn't be picked. The 3rd day arrived quickly, during which Su Yang insisted on doing push UPS and sit UPS every day. 5 sets a day, 20 times each set. Of course, leg training is also essential, so he chose horse stance. When finally, with the sound of a bell, the battle began again. The 3rd round of death game begins. Game name: Fear and Hunger Clearance Conditions: kill all players from different camps or escape from the glacier. Clearance reward: 400 points. Number of players in this game: 8. Game starts in 10 minutes. Different camps. Su Yang raised his eyebrows and found something familiar. The last death game also had similar clearance conditions. The only difference is that there is one more condition to pass the level, escape from the glacier. Su Yang immediately put the axe on his waist, and then ate all the chocolates. Reach half full. Let's start. Su Yang's eyes flashed with a gleam. Chapter 41. Welcome to Hunger and Fear. When Su Yang opened his eyes and found himself at a dock with a huge ship standing in front of him. The entire ship is about 50 meters long and has 3 huge sails on it. The overall structure is somewhat similar to the Black Pearl seen in the movie Sea Voyage. Su Yang frowned. The gameplay this time was not friendly to him because he has always been seasick. When I was a kid, I took a cruise and I was vomiting all over the place in less than half an hour. I will never forget the feeling of dizziness and churning in my stomach. At the same time, he also noticed that the other 7 players were also looking at the dock. Including him, there are 5 men and 3 women in total. Having had experience in death games, everyone groped around like a pro, trying to find some valuable items. During this period, no one took the initiative to speak, and they remained silent tacitly. Because no one knows whether the person talking to you is an ally or an enemy. You don't even know if he will secretly use his talent to give you a hidden mine. Su Yang looked around and found that there were many workers at the dock maintaining and repairing the boats. There were also many fishermen on the shore, holding snakeskin bags filled with seafood. The noise was endless and the 8 people didn't fit in here. Come here, there's a game introduction here, a bald middle-aged man shouted in the crowd. Everyone looked at each other and walked towards the only small house on the pier. After entering, I found a map pasted on the wall with small words written next to it. The camps are divided into explorers and traders. Explorer, you need to use ships to cross the glaciers, collect resources, food, weapons, and other resources along the way, and solve problems encountered during the voyage. The trader possesses dark magic and needs to prevent the explorers from leaving the glacier. This can be done through various methods, such as killing, destroying important items, stealing resources, etc. There are 8 professions in the game: captain, priest, engineer, cook, doctor, hunter, gunner, and navigator. Each class has unique starting items and passive skills. Sailing a 19th century ship, avoiding icebergs, and finding coal to keep the ship moving. After reading the rules, Su Yang found that this was another game with a high degree of freedom. Explorers are good guys in a broad sense. A trader is just what the name suggests. It doesn't say how many explorers and traders there are, so the number is not fixed, muttered a man with a slicked back hair. It must be very cold inside the glacier, but we are all wearing short sleeves. How can we have fun? The bald man asked in confusion. At this time, a careful woman saw a huge box placed in the corner of the room. She opened it and saw that it was filled with thermal clothes, down jackets, gloves, and hats of various sizes. There are clothes in here. As soon as these words were spoken, several people rushed forward like vicious dogs pouncing on their prey, without thinking twice, and hugged the pile of clothes in their arms. Hey, don't rush, there must be enough clothes. The woman who was unpacking the box was knocked unconscious. Su Yang looked at the remaining 2 female players standing motionless in the corner, while looking up at the map. One of them was tall, about 1.7 meters, wearing a t-shirt that was distributed to him. He had a slim figure and a pretty face with a serious look. The other female player was half a head shorter than her, with a face full of collagen and a pair of big, shining eyes that were full of innocence and curiosity. This game looks so fun, I want to be a chef, said the short female player excitedly. Idiot, professions are assigned randomly. How can you just choose which profession you want? The tall female player tapped her head. You hit me again. Zhang Yao looked aggrieved and said with puffy cheeks, I just wanted to cook. The food you cook can poison a whole ship of people. Nan Sweking complained mercilessly. You're looking down on me again. I don't care. I want to be a chef anyway. Zhang Yao snorted, her big watery eyes sparkling with hope. Seeing this, Su Yang asked curiously, do you 2 know each other? Zhang Yao didn't want to respond, but seeing that Su Yang was tall and handsome, she immediately threw Nan Sweking's advice out of her mind. Yes, we are good sisters. What a coincidence. You 2 are matched to the same game. Su Yang smiled. It's not a coincidence. Sweking's talent is binding. She can bind a player to join the game. Zhang Yao said. Shut up. Nan Sweking's face changed, and she immediately covered her mouth, looking at Su Yang vigilantly. Obviously, she was displeased with Su Yang's flattering behavior. As soon as these words were spoken, all eyes turned to the two of them. This is the first time I've heard of bound talents, which means that they both cleared the death game twice at the same time. At this moment, everyone's eyes changed quietly. The faction has not yet been formed and they have already started to form a group, which is not a good thing for the rest of the players. Moreover, Zhang Yao's every move and word reveals her pure innocence. Such people usually die in the first round of the game. But the fact that she is still alive and well is enough to prove that these two people are definitely not good people. Zhang Yao struggled in vain and stared at Nan Sueking angrily. Still glaring at you? You've exposed all our secrets. Nan Sueking gave her a ferocious look. Zhang Yao realized it later, her pretty face changed, and she immediately covered her mouth. Su Yang frowned and thought to himself, is this acting? Ever since he saw Yun Pepe's superb acting skills, he couldn't believe that anyone would still be in this state after playing 2 rounds of the game. In his opinion, Zhang Yao's action must have been deliberate. Trying to use this method to reduce people's sense of crisis and concern. How could I be fooled twice by such a low-level trick? Su Yang thought to himself. Then I picked up the clothes that matched my size and put them into the distributed backpack. I'm going to get the clothes, you are not allowed to talk anymore. Nan Sueking warned seriously. Zhang Yao nodded repeatedly. Just when Nan Sueking left, Zhang Yao secretly ran to Su Yang and looked at Nan Sueking's back carefully. What's wrong? Su Yang asked puzzledly when he saw her acting mysteriously. I just told you about my talents, and you have to tell me about your talents too. Zhang Yao didn't want to suffer any loss, so she said as a matter of course. You are clearly talking about your friend's talent. What does it have to do with you? Su Yang said. That's right. Zhang Yao's eyelashes fluttered, and she turned back to look at Nan Sueking who was still busy. Then I told you my talent, and you have to tell me yours too. A fresh scent of shower gel entered his nose, and Su Yang smiled and nodded, okay. My talent is rebound. If someone hurts me, he will also bear the same amount of damage. Zhang Yao whispered in Su Yang's ear as if she was telling the shy secret of a young girl. What do you mean? Su Yang felt itchy and subconsciously moved away. Idiot, you don't even understand this. Zhang Yao looked at him as if he was an idiot. Then she glanced at the axe hanging on Su Yang's waist and continued, for example, if you hurt me with an axe, you will also suffer the same injury in the same part perish together? Su Yang narrowed his eyes and a picture emerged in his mind. If the player kills Zhang Yao, he will also die accordingly due to his rebound talent. Isn't this the equivalent of a get-out-of-jail-free card? Who dares to touch her? You made all this up, right? Su Yang's face was full of disbelief. Chapter 42. Zhang Yao was immediately unhappy when she heard this. She put her hands on her hips and said angrily, Hey! You want to default on your debt? You don't keep your word. Words are useless, how can you prove it? Su Yang asked with a smile. Makes sense. Zhang Yao tilted her head and thought for a moment, her bright eyes flashing with wisdom, I have a way to prove it. Pinch me and see if I get hurt. Is that what you said? Don't use too much force. Zhang Yao warned, slowly stretched out her hand, closed her eyes, and had an expression of heroic sacrifice. Su Yang looked at the rosy white arm and could clearly see the blue blood vessels inside. He had only seen girls with such delicate skin in TV dramas. I didn't expect that there is such a physique in reality. Zhang Yao waited for a while but saw no movement. She opened her eyes and saw Su Yang staring at her hand motionlessly. She urged him, hurry up, Xueqing will find out that we are doing something bad. It's just like having an affair. Su Yang thought to himself. Then he reached out and pinched her left arm hard. At the same time, Su Yang also felt a force at the same position of his left hand, and a sharp pain came over him. Ouch, are you going to strangle me to death? Zhang Yao withdrew her hand as if she had been electrocuted. Her big eyes were slightly moist, and her pretty face was full of grievance. Su Yang's mind was in a mess at the moment, as if he had discovered a new world. I never thought that there would be a player with such extraordinary talent. He looked down at the injured area and found it was slightly red, which was very similar to the degree of Zhang Yao's injury. If it's a 100% rebound, doesn't that prove that whoever kills her will also die? Su Yang's heart was shocked. This is not a good sign. For now, physical contact can cause rebound damage. If it is a gunshot or an attack with a weapon, will it also cause rebound damage? Do you believe it now? Zhang Yao rubbed the place where she was pinched and muttered softly. Your friend has come this far with the help of your talent, right? Su Yang asked. No, Sweking and I are best friends, and she would never take advantage of me. Zhang Yao raised her chin proudly. Really? Su Yang looked at Nan Sweking's back thoughtfully. Nan Sweking's talent is binding, and for now, I only know that she can bring one person to play the game together. This is the ability to float on the water, but its actual use is currently unknown. Zhang Yao's talent is rebound, which can be called a bug-level existence in the death game. On the same level as fraud. As long as it is used well, it can be invincible. Su Yang was a little confused by the innocence displayed by Zhang Yao. The innocent look in the former's eyes did not seem to be fake. But he didn't dare to let his guard down, for fear of capsizing in a ditch. If she is really the type who is ignorant of the ways of the world, then Nan Sweking must have some ulterior motive in binding her. If it were me, I would also make good use of this weapon. Su Yang thought. It's your turn to speak, tell me quickly. Zhang Yao said. My talent is perspective. Su Yang blinked. It sounds amazing. Zhang Yao believed it without a doubt and said excitedly, show it to me now. Su Yang's eyes continued to move downward, staring at the most plump part, and said, the black underwear you are wearing today. You can see it. This is amazing. Zhang Yao pulled open her clothes and took a look, her eyes full of admiration. Do you believe it now? Su Yang smiled slightly. Well, can you see what color Sweking is wearing today? Zhang Yao suddenly felt ill-intentioned. At this moment, a shadow suddenly appeared in front of Zhang Yao. Hey? Who's behind me? Zhang Yao was about to turn her head when her ear was pinched. Are you stupid? How many times have I told you not to talk to strangers? Nan Sweking listened to the last conversation between the two and her face turned slightly red. Sweking, let me tell you, he is so amazing. His eyes can see through objects and see what is inside. Zhang Yao said with envy. Nan Sweking looked down and said unhappily, you are wearing a white t-shirt. I can see your color without seeing through it. Then he's not wrong. Zhang Yao firmly believed that Su Yang did not lie to her. Nan Sweking looked helpless, she seriously suspected that Zhang Yao was the reincarnation of a stupid pig. Forget it, get on board, the journey is about to begin. Wait, I haven't asked clearly yet. Zhang Yao looked reluctant, but couldn't resist Nan Sweking's firm attitude and was pushed forward. Nan Sweking just walked to the door of the hut, turned back and said coldly, this is my last warning, please don't talk to her anymore, come to me if you have any problem. As she spoke, she drew out the small knife from her waist, and a flash of cold light flashed by. I have principles. I don't take the initiative, I don't refuse, and I don't take responsibility. Su Yang shrugged. The implication was simple, it was Zhang Yao who took the initiative and he was just forced to accept it. If you and I are in the opposite camp, I will be the first to kill you. A strong murderous intent flashed in Nan Sweking's eyes. It can be seen that quite a few souls died at her hands. Wait for good news. Su Yang said lightly. Nan Sweking flicked her ponytail and pulled the still protesting Zhang Yao away, how many times have I told you? Everyone except me is a bad guy, don't get too close to them. He's so handsome, how can he be a bad guy? Zhang Yao didn't understand. He is the biggest bad guy. Remember this. The sound of two people's conversation came from outside the house. Su Yang was looking at the map hanging on the wall, thinking about something. From the map, this should not belong to the Blue Star Plate. It is most likely an independent world. It's not easy to drive this ship across the glacier. Su Yang rubbed his eyebrows, picked up his bag and walked towards the boat. He was the last person to board the ship, and the other players had already explored the interior of the cabin. After Su Yang entered, he found that the structure inside the ship was divided into 3 layers. The first floor is the deck, and the second floor is the living area, which includes the boiler room, studio, kitchen, captain's lounge, and conference room. The third floor is the crew rest area, with a total of 7 rooms. Each room is very large and has all the necessary equipment. Since Su Yang was the last to arrive, the room at the end of the corridor belonged to him. He put his backpack down and lay down on the bed to feel the comfort. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Su Yang opened the door and found that the person who came was the middle-aged bald man. The journey is about to begin, let's gather in the conference room. Su Yang followed him to the conference room. As soon as he came in, he smelled a very pungent smell of rotting wood. There was a map on the wall showing the material distribution area. He sat near the door and looked at the 7 players present. Zhang Yao and Nan Sueking had already greeted each other and had a general understanding of each other. The other girl had an average appearance, with a high nose bridge. She stared at Su Yang with vigilance. The other 4 male players were also looking at Su Yang, their eyes mixed with many meanings. At this moment, an envelope suddenly appeared in front of everyone. Here it comes. Su Yang was quite nervous when he saw this. He knew that this was the time to assign occupations and identities. Everyone opened the envelope together and took out the papers inside to examine them carefully. Su Yang looked carefully and saw a line of bloody characters written at the top. Your identity is, a traitor. Chapter 43. Your profession is a navigator. You possess 3 kinds of black magic, spirit walking, white fog blinding, and cannibal attacks. Use intrigue and dark magic to prevent the explorers from escaping the glacier. These 4 simple lines of words summarize the role and tasks that Su Yang needs to play in this game. Werewolf? Interesting. Su Yang tried hard to suppress the corners of his mouth that wanted to rise. Of course, this kind of game is fun only if you play the bad guy. Good guys catching bad guys is very boring. He has experienced this once in the previous game. I'm good at sabotage. The paper was burned after reading, and the rest of the people had no expression on their faces. Obviously, this was not the first time they had come into contact with this kind of game. I believe you all understand the rules of the game. Please introduce yourselves and state your occupations, asked the man at the back of the meeting room. He was wearing a thin vest, and his thin body did not look strong, but his eyes were particularly bright. Everyone looked at each other in silence, and no one chose to speak. Then let me go first. My name is Qi Ming, and I'm a captain, said the man in the vest. After saying this, he looked at the girl beside him, his intention was clear. My name is Tian Yi, and I'm a chef. As soon as the words fell, Zhang Yao immediately shouted, Ah! I want to be a chef, can I change my career with you? I don't want to be a doctor. This is the allocation, I'm afraid it won't work. Tian Yi said with a smile. What should I do? I want to cook. Zhang Yao was very disappointed. Everyone frowned when they heard this. A girl with Zhang Yao's personality could easily put the team in a passive position in such a harsh environment. No one wants to bring a burden with him. Nan Sueking sensed that the atmosphere was not right and said, My name is Nan Sueking, a professional hunter. You should have heard that Zhang Yao and I are together, so I will be responsible for her life and work. You're responsible? Do you mean to isolate the rest of us? Just the 2 of you, a round-faced, bearded man said coldly. No matter how you understand it, I am bound to her throughout the whole process. Nan Sueking leaned back in the chair and crossed her legs. Bang! The bearded man knocked hard on the table and said in a deep voice, This is a team game. Our task is not only to survive the cold, but also to be careful of traitors. If you take the doctor away, what will happen to the others? Nan Sueking raised her eyes and asked, What does it have to do with me? You. The bearded man was extremely angry, then suddenly realized, I understand, you 2 are werewolves. Produce evidence before making any inferences, otherwise I will suspect that there is a tumor in the middle of your ear. Nan Sueking spoke sharply and refused to give in. The atmosphere on the field was tense, both men held their weapons, and the temperature dropped to freezing point. Say less and don't let the werewolves laugh at you. Qi Ming interrupted. The bearded man snorted coldly and said, Liang Yang, a professional engineer. When it was the next player's turn, he gestured without saying a word. What the hell? Tell me, are you playing guessing games? Liang Yang said unhappily. The man said nothing, but just kept signing, and finally made a shooting gesture. Dumb. 2 words popped up in everyone's mind. What's going on? Can you hear us talking? Liang Yang asked curiously. The man nodded, took out a knife and scratched the table a few times. Lu, Wei, Cheng. Liang Yang read it out. The gunman was mute, not a good sign for the good guys. If he were attacked in the wild or encountered any difficulties, he would have no way to ask for help. If he is a werewolf, it will be even more troublesome. Nothing can be pried out of his mouth and no more information can be collected. The bald man introduced himself. My name is Wei Liang, a professional pastor. After all 7 people were introduced, it was Su Yang's turn. Handsome guy, it's your turn. Qi Ming said. My name is Su Yang, a professional navigator with the gift of eagle eyes. Su Yang said calmly. Fraud talent activated, Su Yang. Liang Yang's eyes widened suddenly as if he remembered something. Are you the ruthless guy ranked 9th on the standings? What? Everyone's faces changed when they heard this. As players of the death game, they knew very well how difficult it was to gain points. The top 500 players in the standings are all experts. They can get double S every time they play the game, so their gaming skills must be very strong. Not to mention the top 10, the best one in 1,000 among the 10,000 players in the prison. Now he not only stated his name and occupation, but also frankly revealed his talent. Wow, you rank so high. Zhang Yao's eyes were filled with admiration when she heard that. Nan Sweking frowned, and the vigilance in her eyes became even stronger. What is the use of the eagle eye talent? Qi Ming asked curiously. I can see things farther away, which can be understood as having my own telescope. Su Yang explained with a smile. It sounds a bit tasteless. Liang Yang complained, but he did not look down on it. A player who has obtained double S ratings and has achieved maximum points in every game. Is he a weak person? Plus, his talent is useless, which means that even with such a useless talent, he can still kill everyone on the leaderboard. This is enough to prove that he has strong gaming ability. If this kind of person is in the camp of explorers, that would be a great thing. But if it's a traitor? At this moment, everyone couldn't help but worry. Fraud talent is activated successfully, you get the new talent Eagle Eye. After activation, you can gain 10 times the vision and penetrate some obstacles. Activation condition, snap your fingers. Duration, 10 seconds. Cooldown time, 10 seconds. So easy. Su Yang laughed secretly in his heart. This is the benefit brought by the halo of the strong, and they have little doubt about it. Zhang Yao was the only one who didn't believe it. You clearly said your talent was perspective, how come it became eagle eyes? That was a lie, little fool. Su Yang said. Okay, you actually dared to lie to me, and I trusted you so much. Zhang Yao put on a very fierce expression, but it didn't look aggressive. At this time, Tian Yi suddenly interrupted, will the profession be related to our real-life work? Liang Yang slapped his head when he heard this. Yes, I used to be the site manager of a construction site, and now he has assigned me the job of an engineer. Qi Ming thought for a moment and nodded, I have driven a speedboat before, so I have some experience in driving a boat. I'm a nurse. Zhang Yao said. People thought about it and found that the job they got was more or less related to their real-life job. Nan Sweking's hobby was playing with the bow, so it was natural for her to get the hunter profession. Tian Yi was born into a family of chefs and has been good at cooking since childhood. Wei Liang claimed that he believed in Christianity and had served as a pastor. In this case, Lu Weiken, the gunman, must have rich experience in shooting in real life. As for the pilot, Su Yang guessed that it was probably because he insisted on exercising every day and had excellent physical fitness. The characteristic of this profession is the movement speed plus 30%, which has a great advantage in running around. Now that everyone has introduced themselves, as the captain, I will now assign tasks to each person and the supplies they need every day. Qi Ming volunteered to serve as the backbone of the team. Chapter 44. No one objected to this. First of all, Qi Ming looks calm and has some experience in team deployment. Secondly, among the 8 people, he is the only one who can drive the boat. When the others are out, he can be responsible for coordinating the work on the boat. Go ahead. Liang Yang said. Seeing that others agreed with this move, Qi Ming nodded with satisfaction, then stood up and walked to the map in the conference room. There are dozens of supply points of all sizes on the map. Red represents abundant supplies, yellow represents average supplies, and green represents scarce supplies. In addition, neutral creatures are marked with skulls. We must be extra careful about this. Qi Ming explained. Nan Sweking took a look and asked in confusion, what does neutral creature mean? Should we avoid it? We are currently unclear about the combat effectiveness of neutral creatures. Before approaching these creatures, we can observe them from a distance and kill them while ensuring a good harvest, Qi Ming said. Su Yang frowned when he heard this. Our game environment is a glacial world, which means there is no direct way to obtain food. Then he looked at the chef Tianyi and said, I think neutral creatures are most likely the source of food for players. The chef must be accompanied when collecting ingredients. That's right. Qi Ming gave him an appreciative look. The main task of a chef is to help the team solve the problem of food and clothing. Tianyi, do you have any weapons? After the second round of the death game, all players received a gift pack of cold weapons. The rewards offered vary. For example, Su Yang is an axe and Nan Sweking is a knife. Tianyi took out an iron rod from her backpack and said, this is all I have. Qi Ming glanced around and his eyes fell on Wei Liang, where's the pastor? Mine is a sickle. Wei Liang responded. Okay, then let's arrange the tasks for the chef and the priest first. You two will cooperate with each other and look for the bones left on this land on the way to get food. Qi Ming distributed the first task. No problem for me. Wei Liang nodded in acceptance. Tianyi glanced at the bald man and said after a slight hesitation, I have no problem with that either. Wait. Liang Yang sensed something was wrong. We are not sure who the traitor is right now. Wouldn't it be a good idea to form a team rashly? If something happens to the chef, who will cook for us? Nan Sweking glanced at him and said, what's wrong with forming a team? One more person means more strength. Do you want the chef to kill neutral creatures alone? Why can't she do it alone? She is not a pampered princess. Working independently is everyone's duty. Liang Yang said meaningfully. The parties involved have no objection, but you disagree. Since you are suspicious by nature, then why don't you go and accompany her? Nan Sweking retorted. Liang Yang glanced at Wei Liang, who had a gloomy face, snorted coldly and said nothing more. Obviously, while he was worried about the chef's safety, he was also worried that the chef might be a traitor. During these two games, he had seen many women with outstanding abilities. Looking at a person through tinted glasses can easily backfire. Therefore, he was not willing to form a team without knowing his identity. It's settled, Liang Yang, your task is to move coal into the cave. Qi Ming pointed to a red supply point with a coal pattern on it. Remember, return to the ship immediately after taking out all the coal inside. Okay. Liang Yang agreed. The gunner will go to the supply point on the right on the first day. You have a gun in your hand, so take as many supplies as possible. If conditions permit, you can help the chef. Qi Ming looked at Lu Weiken. What about us? Zhang Yao couldn't wait to know her mission. You. Qi Ming glanced at the map, and after a moment's silence, he said, you and the hunter go to the supply point on the left. Similarly, if conditions permit, help the engineer get coal. Okay. Zhang Yao nodded obediently, with anticipation in her eyes. Nan Sweking didn't say anything, which was considered as tacit consent to his arrangement. Although she didn't like Liang Yang's behavior, she was able to prioritize to ensure the game went on normally. Navigator, you move the fastest, so go to the coal resource point on the right to get coal. If time permits, you can bring more supplies back to the ship. Qi Ming said. Simply put, a navigator is a free man. With the added bonus of movement speed, he can do everything that other professions can do. Just like a brick, it can be moved wherever it is needed. When the hunter and the doctor are bound together, his task becomes much heavier. Okay, all the tasks have been issued. I'm going to drive the boat, and you guys start preparing. Qi Ming picked up his backpack and walked out of the meeting room. The game will officially begin once the boat starts moving, so everyone should put on their clothes first, Tianyi reminded. Before leaving, Su Yang looked at the map, memorized the location of the supply point, and then returned to the room. He first put on thermal underwear and found that it locked in heat immediately after putting it on, with excellent warmth-keeping effect. Then he put on a sweater and a down jacket on top. After all the operations, his body immediately swelled up into a big fat man, just like the pumpkin in Plants vs. Zombies. Isn't it a bit too exaggerated? Su Yang stood in front of the mirror and looked at himself for a moment. In reality, he lives in the south and has no deep understanding of the cold. I just know that there will be a magic attack in winter, and no matter how thick you wear, you will still feel cold. The degree is not exaggerated, and it can be resisted with strong willpower. Put it on first. Su Yang already felt sweat on his back. He immediately opened the wardrobe and took out the initial props for the navigator profession. A telescope and an oil lamp. The telescope is not a product of modern technology. It has a very simple shape, consisting of a freely retractable stick and a few lenses. The oil lamp was even more crude, just like the ones seen in movies, with only a switch function. Turn on the oil lamp and you can feel the warmth. It's too shabby. Is this the treatment for a navigator? Su Yang shook his head helplessly. Compared with other professions, navigators can be described as innate ox and horse holy bodies. Using the worst equipment and doing the hardest and most tiring work. The captain starts with a saber, the hunter starts with a bow, and the gunner starts with a flintlock. The engineer has an axe and the priest has a shovel specifically for digging bones. Even doctors and chefs have a kitchen knife. Only the pilot could carry a lantern. If he hadn't performed well in the last death game and got a weapon, Su Yang thought he would have no choice but to wait for death if he encountered danger. Who will be my werewolf companion? Su Yang sat on the bed and reviewed the performance of each player in the conference room. There is nothing wrong with Qi Ming's actions and remarks. Liang Yang is very radical, and it is not ruled out that he did it on purpose. Tian Yi showed obvious fear when he heard his mission. Wei Liang didn't say much, but he looked quite fierce. Not to mention Lu Weiken, he just stared at the map the whole time and no one knew what he was thinking. As for Zhang Yao and Nan Sueking, let's take it one step at a time. If I can't find a wolf teammate on the first day, I'll just play as a hidden wolf. Su Yang thought to himself. Chapter 45. Werewolves have many ways to cause destruction. Including but not limited to hiding key supplies, poisoning food, making poison needles to stab people, making gunpowder barrels to blow up ships. Of course, the simplest and most brutal method is to kill people. But Su Yang would not do this unless he was absolutely sure of a smooth victory. You have to rub as many totems as possible on the first day. Su Yang saw the introduction to the werewolf skills in the rules. Each skill is divided into 3 levels, the higher the level, the better the effect. There is a prerequisite for releasing skills, and that is the totem. The more totems you rub, the faster your mana will recover, and the higher the level of your skills will be. Therefore, Su Yang felt that he had too much work to do. It was fine in a normal environment, but if it was a harsh environment like the Arctic, he couldn't even imagine how difficult it would be to just survive. At this moment, Su Yang muttered in his heart, and a bone knife suddenly appeared in his hand. The bone knife seemed to be made from the leg bone of some creature. The surface was very rough and the blade was stained with blood that had long since dried. He tried to touch the tip of the knife with his hand and found it was not sharp. Woo-woo. A loud whistle sounded, and Su Yang felt a push on his back slowly coming. He realized the boat was moving. So I walked out of the room and came to the second floor of the cabin, where I found that the boiler had been started. It was so warm inside that I was sweating. Damn, what the hell is this? It's so hot. Liang Yang came up from the 3rd floor cursing and greeted Su Yang. How do I use these workbenches? Su Yang asked curiously, looking at the various tools on the table. I guess just putting the materials on it will produce something. It's not realistic to force players to rub the axe by hand. Liang Yang guessed. Su Yang nodded slightly when he heard this. If he had to make everything by hand, it would take several days just to make a bullet. After walking around for a while, he came to the kitchen area and saw Tian Yi bending over and fiddling with various seasonings. From this angle, you can clearly capture the beautiful outline. Tian Yi noticed the movement behind her, turned around and found it was Su Yang. She smiled politely, wiped the sweat off her face and said, "Are you hungry? Dinner hasn't started yet. I'll just come and take a look." Su Yang walked into the kitchen and looked at the simple kitchen utensils and pots and pans. It seemed as if they had been carefully cleaned by Tian Yi. There were no stains or mold residue on the kitchen utensils and dishes. "Is there anything I can help you with?" Su Yang asked considerately. "No need, it's all ready." Tian Yi closed the cabinet and said. In the light of the fire, Tian Yi's face was red. They were half a meter apart, and Su Yang looked at her face. Tian Yi is not a beauty in the public's perception. Her facial features are indeed delicate, but when put together they make her look rather ordinary. When she smiles, a shallow dimple appears on her cheek, which looks quite sweet. "What a pity!" Su Yang suddenly spoke. "What?" Tian Yi looked at him curiously. "If there were free cosmetics in the cell, you would definitely be very beautiful after putting on makeup." Su Yang said sincerely. "Are you praising me or scolding me?" Tian Yi was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. She had heard a lot of such straight male remarks before, and as someone who had seen many ups and downs, she naturally would not agree with Su Yang. Of course I'm complimenting you. I think your face shape and facial features are very suitable for posing a character in an anime. Su Yang said seriously. Tell me about it. Tian Yi said with interest. Sailor Moon from Sailor Moon. Bullshit, stop talking nonsense here. Tian Yi subconsciously fixed her bangs and her face flushed slightly. I say this, but I actually feel very happy about it. I never lie. Su Yang said with a smile. Is it really a good fit? Tian Yi looked at the handsome face with sharp edges in front of her, and ripples appeared in her heart. It is a very happy thing to be praised for your beauty. Especially being praised by a handsome guy. You can give it a try if you have the chance. I believe there will be many otakus who will pay for you. Su Yang nodded. Hate it, who wants to be liked by a otaku? Tian Yi hit Su Yang lightly, but she felt very happy in her heart. Since I'm so honest, can you give me more meat when you eat? Su Yang blinked. So that's why you said so much. Tian Yi rolled her eyes in annoyance. It just came to my mind. Su Yang said with a smile. Since you are so honest, I will give you some special treatment when I have the chance. Tian Yi readily agreed. My mom was right. Beautiful people are kind-hearted. Hate. Just as the two were chatting and laughing, an uninvited guest suddenly jumped out of the kitchen door. Hey! What bad things are you doing secretly? Tell the truth. Zhang Yao said loudly with her hands on her hips. Who did something bad? Don't talk nonsense. Tian Yi secretly glanced at Su Yang's expression and hurriedly explained. You're still saying no? A man and a woman are alone in a room, what do you want to do? Speak. Zhang Yao turned into a judge of justice. Save your energy. You'll find a place to vent your energy later. Su Yang walked out of the kitchen and rubbed Zhang Yao's head when he passed by her. Go away, you big liar, and don't touch me. Zhang Yao glared at him, still holding a grudge against him for deceiving her. Su Yang left the kitchen and walked towards the first floor, with the corners of his mouth slightly raised. The first step of the trader plan has been completed. In ships sailing far away, the kitchen has always been an important place and crew members are not allowed to enter it at will. Because if there is something wrong with the food, it can at best affect the progress, or even cost lives. Su Yang's purpose was simple, to gain Tian Yi's trust and pave the way for poisoning the food in the future. From her performance in the conference room, it can be seen that she always shows an unnatural expression in front of the two girls, one tall and the other cute and plump. Su Yang could see that this was a typical inferiority complex. A sign of lack of confidence in one's appearance. Therefore, you only need to slightly poke her pain point and then give her a piece of candy in return, which can greatly lower a person's psychological defenses and gain a certain degree of favor. It is absolutely impossible to trust someone 100%. Tian Yi is not a fool. Su Yang doesn't need unconditional trust, he just needs an opportunity to get closer to the kitchen in the future. That's all. If you want to be a qualified hidden wolf, you must treat the game from a good person's perspective. Otherwise, it would be easy to expose one's true colors like Guo Bing and Zhou Han. As soon as Su Yang opened the cabin door, a gust of cold wind suddenly hit him like a sharp knife, scratching his face painfully. Hiss, so cold. He subconsciously hugged his clothes tightly and walked to the deck to look at the scenery outside. A world covered in silver came into view, like a pure white world, so white that it made people's heart palpitate. Fine snowflakes were floating in the sky, covering the deck with a thin white blanket. Looking around, the sky and the earth seemed to be covered with thick white snow, extending to the end of the vision. In addition, ships were sailing on the blue sea, and the splashes of water mixed with ice chips made the sea surface crackle. Su Yang. Qi Ming, who was driving the boat, saw someone coming up and a hint of curiosity flashed in his eyes. I just came up to take a look. Su Yang's teeth were chattering from the cold, and a layer of white gauze immediately appeared on his eyelashes. He still underestimated the harshness of the glacial world. The cabin was extremely warm, but outside it was freezing cold. It's not easy to deal with in such cold weather. Su Yang felt his body was frozen, and even a simple grasping movement was a little slow. Chapter 46. The ship sailed from the sea towards a wide glacier against the wind and snow. There are towering snow-capped mountains on both sides of the river. The snow-capped scenery looks like two mountain gods standing here. Boom! The bow broke through the solid ice, making a deafening buzzing sound. When the players on the ship heard the noise, they immediately put down what they were doing and went to the deck together. What happened? Why is the boat shaking so much? Liang Yang had taken off his down jacket and thermal underwear and changed into his original short-sleeved shirt because it was too hot in the cabin. As soon as he stepped out, he felt the biting cold wind, which made his muscles cramp and his whole body tremble. He quickly turned around and went back to put on his clothes. It's so damn cold. The 7 people looked at the dreamlike scenery and couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. So beautiful. I didn't know the snow-capped mountains are so beautiful. Zhang Yao's big eyes were full of amazement. It's such a beautiful carving that seems like it was created by a god. Tian Yi was also amazed. What types of neutral creatures would appear in a place like this? After a brief pause, Wei Liang began to think about safety issues. Don't worry too much, they are probably just some snow rabbits, penguins, or similar creatures. Qi Ming comforted with a smile. I hope so. Wei Liang's gloomy face turned purple from the cold, with a hint of worry on it. Soon, the ship broke through the ice and arrived at the designated location, shouting in unison, "You can disembark. Remember to come back before the sun sets." As he spoke, the ship suddenly slowed down to an extremely slow speed. Lu Weiken was the first to go out. He climbed down the rope ladder on the side of the deck and stepped firmly on the ice. It won't collapse, will it? Tian Yi was a little scared. No, these ice floes are half a meter thick and can accommodate the weight of dozens of people. Wei Liang said. Hearing him say this, Tian Yi hesitated for a moment and then gritted her teeth. Wei Liang followed closely behind, holding the priest's initial prop shovel in his hand, and walked slowly towards the shore. Su Yang also stepped onto the ice with his backpack on his back. He felt it was very slippery and was about to fall after taking a step. When you walk, take small steps, don't run. Wei Liang reminded him, looking at Su Yang's clumsy movements, he asked curiously, "Are you from the south?" "Well, it never snowed where we are." Su Yang nodded. "Come, hold on to me and I'll take you there." Wei Liang took the initiative to walk to his side and offered his support. Su Yang was slightly startled by this enthusiastic gesture and subconsciously grabbed his arm. Wei Liang led the way in front, and Su Yang walked carefully behind, and the distance of 100 meters was reached in an instant. When the 4 of them stepped onto the shore, they all breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you," Su Yang said. "I'm just thinking about the team," Wei Liang said expressionlessly. No one expected that there was a warm heart under the cold appearance. When Tian Yi saw this, the heavy stone pressing on her heart couldn't help but fall a little. "Hurry up, the temperature is expected to be 10 to 20 degrees Celsius colder than it is now at night." Wei Liang walked out with a shovel in his hand. Su Yang looked to the left 200 meters away and saw Zhang Yao, Nan Sueking, and Liang Yang had already set out on the journey to search for supplies. 3 people on the left, 4 people on the right, and 1 guarding on the boat. Su Yang thought for a while and planned to make long-range weapons first. With everyone holding melee weapons, there is obviously no guarantee of victory if we act rashly. Therefore, Su Yang planned to collect bones and rub the totem first. If you are lucky enough to feel the tendon, then you have a bow. According to the scale indicated on the map, it is 500 meters away from the first supply point. Let's not move the coal for now. Let's get the supplies first. Su Yang thought to himself. Then he walked forward. With the bonus of the navigator profession, he felt that even if he was walking on the snow, his speed was the same as usual. There seems to be someone there. Tian Yi paused, his expression stiffened. Su Yang looked in the direction she was looking at, and saw a figure wearing animal skins lying on the ground, with part of his body covered by snow. "Let's go and take a look." Su Yang took out an axe and walked forward. Could it be a ghost? Tian Yi's face turned pale. Where did the ghost come from in broad daylight? Wei Liang frowned. The 3 of them touched it cautiously little by little, they were not sure whether it was a neutral creature or a real person. If they were neutral, wouldn't that mean that they would have to fight humanoid creatures in addition to wild beasts? When they arrived at their destination, they suddenly saw a dry bone covered with frost. It's a corpse. Wei Liang used a shovel to shovel the snow off the corpse, revealing the backpack that was pressed underneath. "Let me see." Tian Yi opened the backpack and found 3 pieces of scrap metal and a glass bottle filled with a clear liquid. "Is this laudanum?" Su Yang asked. Wei Liang opened it and smelled it, and found that the smell was very pungent, and he felt a little dizzy after smelling it. "It's probably true. You pack it up first." Wei Liang stuffed the things into Tian Yi's bag. It turns out that things can be obtained not only from the supply area, but also from digging up corpses. Tian Yi swept away her previous worries and fears and gradually became excited. Of course, otherwise what's the point of a priest digging up corpses? Su Yang said. Tian Yi exhaled a breath of hot air, her face flushed, and she took the lead and walked forward. Seeing this, Wei Liang turned around and said, "The chef and I will leave first, please be careful." "Okay." Su Yang nodded. He longed to be able to move freely. When the two of them walked away, their figures gradually disappeared under the wind and frost. Su Yang's eyes flashed, and he immediately picked up the axe and chopped it down with all his strength. Bang! The hand and leg bones of the corpse were cut off directly by the sharp weapon. Su Yang held the bones that were still bleeding, and an inexplicable desire suddenly surged in his body. He realized that this was an innate instinct of being a traitor. Just as vultures crave to eat a corpse. 4 bones, require 12 wooden boards. Su Yang stuffed the bones into the backpack and threw the remaining half of the body and the backpack into the sea. Then pile the snow into the pit to fill it up and continue moving forward. The totem is the first thing a traitor makes, and the material must be human bones. Su Yang walked several hundred meters in the wind and snow, and found many corpses and wooden pallets along the way. The things in the backpack had already been taken away by Lu Weiken and 3 others, leaving only an empty body. In order not to arouse suspicion, Su Yang did not take away all the bones, but took a piece of hand bone or leg bone from each corpse. As the ships sail, these places will never be visited again. As for the wooden pallet, he chopped it all up with an axe and threw it all into his backpack. After walking a little further, Su Yang saw a tent surrounded by piles of boxes, but all of them were opened. There is no doubt that the gunmen took away the resources here. This is also the task assigned by Captain Qi Ming. Su Yang's target was the supply area ahead, and he still had to walk another 500 meters. "Look, there's a seal." A cry came from the area near the shore. "This is a spotted seal, don't disturb it." Wei Liang's voice came. Su Yang looked over and found a 1.5-meter-long silver-grey seal covered with black spots lying on the shore basking in the Sunday-neutral creatures. Chapter 47. Su Yang had imagined many situations, but he never expected that seals would appear here. The rough skin and thick fat allow this creature to survive comfortably in the cold world. I saw it moving forward little by wriggling its forelimbs and upper body, like a big worm, which was quite cute. Girls have no resistance to this cute creature. Tian Yi's eyes flashed with pity. "Should we kill it?" "Well, as you can see, there is no other source of food in this kind of place except neutral creatures." Wei Liang nodded. "But..." Tian Yi looked at the iron rod in his hand, then looked at the fat seal, and was hesitant to speak. "Let me help you." Wei Liang took off his backpack and slowly moved forward with a sickle in his hand. "Be careful," Tian Yi reminded. Wei Liang said nothing, lowered his body, and moved closer little by little. The seal was completely unaware of the approaching danger and continued to lie there peacefully. When the two were 5 meters apart, the seal sensed a strange smell and opened its eyes. Wei Liang stopped suddenly and stared at the seal motionlessly. Time seemed to stand still, neither of them moved, they just stared at each other in a daze. Tian Yi's heart was in her throat, fearing that the seal would dive into the sea and escape. After a moment, the seal yawned and turned away as if nothing had happened. "Hey!" Wei Liang secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He has killed chickens and ducks, and also helped the village kill pigs during the Huoxia New Year. He felt nervous when facing the seals whose attack power was not very strong. Perhaps due to psychological reasons, he couldn't tell whether this was a game or reality. "Come on!" Tian Yi shouted in a low voice. Wei Liang took a deep breath and moved closer with the sickle in hand. Soon, when the two sides were only 2 meters apart, Wei Liang squatted up and gathered his strength, then suddenly rushed out. "Hold the sickle high and chop down the seal's head with all your strength." Puff! At the critical moment, the seal suddenly turned its head, and the sickle hit its neck, but was blocked by its thick fat. No matter how hard Wei Liang tried, the sickle could not move forward an inch. The severe pain drove the seal crazy. It screamed and twisted its body wildly to escape into the sea. The blood flowed rapidly, dyeing the snow red, and the shrill roars spread all around. Not good. Wei Liang's pupils suddenly shrank, and as the seal struggled, his legs slid forward uncontrollably. He overestimated his own strength and underestimated the seal's desire to survive. A seal weighing 200 kilograms is not something an ordinary adult can contend with. Wei Liang was thrown out and fell heavily to the ground with a muffled groan. Be careful! Tian Yi exclaimed. A cold light flashed across Wei Liang's gloomy face. He quickly got up, grasped the sickle handle again, and tore it hard. Tear it up! A large hole was torn in the seal's thick skin, revealing its yellow fat layer. The seal struggled even harder, swung its tail suddenly and hit him in the chest. Wei Liang groaned and fell to the ground. His body, restrained by the cold, seemed to be anesthetized and could not move. It's trying to escape. Tian Yi watched the seal only a few meters away from the ocean. Damn it! Wei Liang quickly got up and chased after him. But he had already missed the opportunity and could only watch it escape. At this moment, a figure rushed up at an extremely fast speed, with a flash of cold light. Swish! The sharp axe hit directly on the wound caused by the sickle, severing the spine. The seal, having lost its support, roared and struggled, but its body could not move forward an inch. Su Yang! When Tian Yi saw the person coming, hope flashed in her eyes. She didn't expect the other party to appear at this time. Wei Liang was stunned at first, then he reacted and shouted, cut off its head. Su Yang pulled out the axe and chopped it several times with force. Warm blood splattered all over his body, but he didn't care at all, as he was bloodthirsty. The seal's struggling strength gradually weakened, and with a crisp sound, its huge head finally fell to the ground. You're really tough. Su Yang felt his hands were numb, and his arm muscles ached from the intense exercise. This was his first time to engage in close combat with a living creature, previously he had relied on guns to kill. The moment the axe chopped down, he could feel the creature twitching, which felt very strange. I wouldn't say I felt uncomfortable or nauseous, but I was a little scared. He put himself in the seal's shoes and imagined himself being dismembered like this. Su Yang panted heavily, pulled out the sickle and handed it to Wei Liang. Are you not hurt? It's okay. This beast is really strong. Wei Liang rubbed his chest and spoke with bared teeth. If he hadn't been wearing thick enough clothes, this blow would have been enough to break his sternum. Tian Yi hurried over to check on the two, her eyes filled with worry. Do you want to go back to the boat first? It's just a minor injury, no need to waste time. Wei Liang waved his hand. Seeing his firm attitude, Tian Yi stopped insisting and looked at Su Yang and said, luckily you are nearby, otherwise we would have no dinner tonight. Of course we are a team, aren't we? Su Yang grinned. How familiar does this sentence sound? Wei Liang said it not long ago. Tian Yi was stunned when she saw the handsome face shining in the Sunday dinner is left to you too. I'll go to the front to collect supplies. Su Yang wiped the blood off the axe with blood and put it on his waist. Be careful, I feel that neutral creatures may not be as easy to deal with as we think. Wei Liang warned. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Su Yang nodded. After he walked away, Tian Yi couldn't help but say, Su Yang is so kind-hearted, he must be on our side. Wei Liang did not comment on this, but recalled the brutal scene when he killed the seal. That is definitely not how an ordinary person would behave. Expressions may be deceiving, but eyes cannot be faked. He has killed many people. Wei Liang suddenly spoke. Ah! Tian Yi was stunned for a moment and didn't react. It's nothing, just take the meat. Wei Liang said. Su Yang walked another 500 meters and finally arrived at the second red material area. There were only 2 tents standing here, surrounded by supply boxes. I'm rich. Su Yang couldn't help rubbing his hands when he saw this. He walked over to the nearest supply box, grabbed the edge with both hands and flipped it over. The box opened straight open, revealing what was inside. 3 pieces of scrap iron, 3 lead ingots, and a key with a peculiar shape. What is this? Su Yang put the scrap iron and lead ingots into his backpack and took the key in his hand to look at it. Different from the common key for opening a hole, the one in his hand looks like the tip of a gear and can be extended and retracted freely. Unboxing. Su Yang remembered that there seemed to be a pattern of a safe in the supply area on the map. He guessed that this kind of key was most likely used to open the box. While Su Yang was thinking, he was unaware that danger was approaching. A 2-meter-long ice wolf approached quietly, its muscular body extremely explosive, its sharp teeth exposed to the air, releasing its ferocity. Suddenly, the dire wolf pounced on Su Yang, as fast as a cannonball. In an instant, Su Yang sensed the murderous intent, the hair on his back stood up, and he turned around abruptly. I saw a bloody mouth with a fishy smell appear in front of me, only half a meter away from my face. Wolf! Su Yang widened his eyes and subconsciously picked up the axe to resist. But it was too late. The explosive power of this dire wolf was even more terrifying than he had imagined. Just as the teeth were about to touch the cheek, a gunshot suddenly rang out. Bang! The dire wolf pounced on Su Yang with a whoosh, and a blood hole as big as a fist appeared on the back of its head. Su Yang was knocked to the ground by inertia, and the heavy wolf corpse made it difficult for him to breathe. Gunman! Su Yang's heart was pounding. Almost, just a little bit, he was bitten. But if there was no wolf behind him, would the gunman's bullet have hit his own head? At this time, a figure appeared in front of Su Yang. He dragged the wolf corpse away and walked towards the tent without saying a word. Su Yang took a while to get up and looked around, and found that the person coming was Lu Weiken. He wants to save me. Or do you want to kill me? Chapter 48. What really made Su Yang feel the crisis and murderous intent was not the dire wolf. It's Lu Weiken. As an extremely good hunter in the snowfield, he is often good at hiding his murderous intentions. The moment he turned his head just now, Su Yang vaguely saw Lu Weiken's sharp eyes. Flashing cold light. Looking at his back as he disappeared into the tent, thousands of possibilities emerged in Su Yang's mind. Is it just a coincidence? Perhaps the murderous intent is not directed at me. But why? The timing of his attack was so perfect. It was like, you're waiting for me here on purpose. When he thought of this, Su Yang suddenly felt a chill down his spine. If he had done it on purpose, and if the dire wolf hadn't pounced on him, he would have died with regret. If it was simply to save his life, why would he have the intention to kill him? Have I been exposed? Su Yang's mind was spinning wildly, recalling every detail along the way. He boasted that he was very good at disguise. Although he was not perfect, he did not do anything out of the ordinary. Including helping the cook and the priest kill seals just now, all of this was to prove his identity as a good person. Talent. Su Yang frowned, suddenly thinking of Yu Yu's eye of true vision. This type of talent can directly see through the player's identity. Su Yang raised his eyes slightly, took a long breath, and subconsciously tightened the axe handle. He now has to prepare for the worst. If his identity is discovered, he must eliminate the threat. Lu Weiken couldn't open his mouth to speak, this was his only chance left. Thinking of this, Su Yang slowly walked towards the target tent, sweat oozing from his palms. Killing a player with a gun is not an easy task. Su Yang knows that even if he succeeds, he will not be able to return to the ship. If you fail, take a gamble. A gleam of light flashed in Su Yang's eyes, and he gradually quickened his pace. We cannot take chances at this time and must resolve all uncertainties. A dim light flickered in the tent, and Lu Weiken was seen standing in front of a workbench rubbing props. At this angle, his back was facing the door, which was the best time to assassinate him. Su Yang held his breath, slowly pulled out the axe, tensed his legs, and suddenly rushed forward. Su Yang, what are you doing here? Suddenly, a female voice was heard, and Lu Weiken suddenly turned around and looked at Su Yang, who was only a few meters away from him. The latter quickly put the axe back to its original place the moment he heard the noise, with a smile on his face. Zhang Yao came running over, watching the two people staring at each other, and a series of question marks appeared in her head. Hey? So the gunman is here too. Su Yang ignored the unexpected guest, smiled and stretched out his hand, saying, I forgot to say just now, thank you for your help. Suspicion emerged in Lu Weiken's eyes, as if he was wondering how much truth or falsehood the other party's words were. At this time, Zhang Yao noticed a wolf corpse lying next to the tent and exclaimed, oh, there are dire wolves here too, also? Su Yang gave him a puzzled look. Zhang Yao explained, the engineer encountered 2 dire wolves while moving coal in the cave and was almost bitten to death. Luckily, Sweking heard the screams and arrived in time to save him. How is the situation now? Su Yang asked. I've returned to the boat to rest. Sweking asked me to come here to find some herbs and opium tincture. Zhang Yao said. She's comfortable with you coming here alone. Su Yang raised his eyebrows. Yes, there are so many people here, Sweking is not worried that I will be in danger. Zhang Yao said, straightening his waist and said, don't underestimate me, I am also capable of fighting. Su Yang looked over and saw a small dagger on her waist. Tian Yi has opium tincture on her, so you may have to look for some herbs. Su Yang said. Zhang Yao nodded and began to look for a doctor's bag near the tent. Su Yang's eyes fell on Lu Weiken again and he said, if you hadn't helped me, I might have been seriously injured like Liang Yang, or even bitten to death. Lu Weiken looked down at the hand he extended, thought for a moment, then reached out and held it. His hands were cold, like frost, just like his eyes. I owe you a favor. Su Yang said. Lu Weiken withdrew his hand and started to rub the unfinished prop. Su Yang didn't care about his indifference and turned to walk towards the unopened supply box. Zhang Yao's sudden appearance ruined his assassination plan. If it weren't for that roar, Lu Weiken's attention would not have been distracted. Fortunately, Su Yang stopped in time, otherwise his life or death would be in danger. After this incident, his vigilance will be raised to more than one level, and assassination will probably be impossible. Su Yang fell into deep thought. He suddenly realized that being a hidden wolf was not so easy. The number of traitors is unknown. If you want to win this game, you must speed up. Speed up the killing process. Su Yang opened all the supply boxes around the tent and obtained 20 wooden boards, 10 pieces of scrap iron, 5 lead ingots, 2 bags of gunpowder and a trap. The harvest is not too great, but it is enough for the current stage. Just as Su Yang was about to enter the tent to warm himself by the fire, he suddenly caught sight of an opened doctor's bag. When I took a closer look, I saw 3 pieces of green herbs lying inside. Zhang Yao didn't take it away. Su Yang was puzzled. When I looked up, I found that she was chattering something with Lu Weiken, but the latter ignored her. Su Yang quickly put all the herbs into his pocket, then walked into another tent as if nothing had happened and threw a few pieces of wood into the stove. A feeling of warmth enveloped his body, and he placed his hands in front of the stove to warm them to drive away the cold. After a while, Zhang Yao ran in happily and said, it's getting dark, the gunman and I will go back first. Okay, you go first. Su Yang nodded. You'd better hurry up. I heard it will be much colder at night. Zhang Yao reminded. Don't worry, you won't die. Afterwards, Zhang Yao and Lu Weiken left the supply area one after another and set off back to the ship. When the footsteps faded away, Su Yang immediately threw the 3 herbs into the stove and began to boil the poison. Then he ran out of the tent and ran towards the snow-capped mountains. When he was assassinating, he saw that there was a corner with a blind spot in his vision. It was a perfect position to rub the totem there, and it would be impossible to find it without careful observation. The afterglow of the setting sun shines on the snow, casting a golden glow. Su Yang threw all the collected bones and wooden boards on the ground, and then arranged them according to the ratio, 4 pieces of wood to 1 bone. When the 2 were combined together, a mysterious power suddenly emerged in the body. The next moment, a totem like a street lamp suddenly stood up. At the same time, Su Yang felt a strange element in his body. Got it. Su Yang was overjoyed and quickened his movements to rub all the totems. After a while, all 6 totems were generated. Each totem looks exactly the same, with a base made of a human skull and vine-like plants supporting a sheep-shaped head. It seems particularly weird. He sensed it and found that the speed of mana generation was not fast, and it would take about 4 hours before he could use the level 1 skill. Su Yang returned to the tent. The poison had already been brewed. He opened the bottle cap and smelled it, only to find that there was no peculiar smell. It was no different from ordinary water. It's time to go back to the ship. A gleam of light flashed in Su Yang's eyes. The ship slaughtering plan has officially begun. Chapter 49. It took Su Yang more than half an hour to reach the destination, a distance of more than 1 kilometer. The snow and wind mixed with strong winds along the way made it impossible to open one's eyes and move forward. In order to complete the task assigned by Qi Ming, he put the coal into his backpack along the way. When he climbed up the rope ladder to the deck, he noticed that Qi Ming was not driving the boat. Where are the people? Su Yang became curious. He immediately opened the cabin door and went to the 2nd floor. As soon as he came down, he heard bursts of complaints. Is the meal not ready yet? I haven't eaten for a whole day and I'm almost starving to death. Liang Yang leaned against the kitchen door and said in a sad voice. It's so cold. Isn't there any coal burning in the boiler room? Zhang Yao rubbed her hands. Where is my iron? Who stole my iron? Wei Liang said angrily at the workbench. You have a piece of shit iron, that's what I brought back. Nan Sweking cursed. The only 2 people on the ship who were not making noise were Captain Qi Ming and Gunner Lu Weiken. The 2 sat at the table, looking at each other in silence. One is mute, and the other doesn't know how to communicate with the mute. At this time, Tianyi came out of the kitchen with a spatula in her hand, and shouted angrily, "You keep complaining about being hungry and cold, can you please show some selflessness?" As she spoke, she looked at Liang Yang, who had a bandage on his shoulder, and said unhappily, "Hurry, hurry, hurry, you just keep urging me. If you can do it, come on." Liang Yang smiled awkwardly. He didn't know how to cook, but he could just make some instant noodles. "My stomach is growling with hunger. Besides, I've done so much work today. Is it too much to ask for a bowl of rice?" Who among the 8 people on the ship didn't work? Not only did Su Yang risk his life to help kill neutral creatures, he was almost bitten by a dire wolf. He does the most work, but he hasn't come back yet. Can you learn from others? Liang Yang was stunned by the output and said unconvincedly, "How can his navigator be as tired as me as an engineer? Do you know how hard it is to move coal? Okay, okay, you work the hardest, so eat more later." Tianyi rolled her eyes in annoyance. Liang Yang wanted to say something, but he caught a glimpse of Su Yang from the corner of his eye. "You're back." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's eyes focused on him. Su Yang dragged his tired body to lie on the bench, threw his backpack on the ground, and said weakly, "How was the harvest? Did you get anything good?" Liang Yang sat next to him with curiosity. "Not bad. I got a lot of iron and lead ingots." Su Yang closed his eyes and rested. Liang Yang opened his backpack, looked at the harvest, and nodded, "Good job, you brought back so many materials." Watching him rummaging through his backpack, Su Yang was not at all panicked. He had already hidden the poison on his body, and his bones had been completely consumed, leaving no trace of any flaws. "I'm hungry. How long will it take for dinner?" Su Yang sat up straight and looked at Tianyi. "It will be almost done, at most 5 minutes." Seeing that everyone was present, Tianyi hurried into the kitchen. "I'll go help." Su Yang stood up. When I came to the kitchen, Tianyi was flipping the seal meat with a spatula. "There is no rice or noodles. If you want to fill your stomach, you can only use the simplest and most primitive cooking method." "Can't wait." Tianyi saw Su Yang coming in, with a smile on her face. "See if anyone needs help." Su Yang took a look at the seal meat in the cabinet, estimated to be about 50 kilograms. "Thanks to your help today, otherwise we wouldn't have dinner." Tianyi wiped the sweat off her face, not doubting Su Yang's enthusiasm. "No need to help, just go sit outside and wait. Then I'll wait for you to finish and help carry it out," Su Yang said. Tianyi felt a little happy when she heard that. Many times, girls' excuses are often not intentional. Even though she didn't want to ask Su Yang, who was already working hard, for help, she would be happy when she heard that he took the initiative to help. "How was the harvest today?" Su Yang asked. "Well, fortunately, I helped the priest dig up the bodies and got a lot of good things later," Tianyi responded. "For example?" Su Yang became interested. "Guess." Tianyi winked playfully. "I guess your mother's head." Su Yang was smiling on the surface, but he was actually a prankster on the inside. "But for emotional value," he said, "gun parts." "No." Tianyi shook her head. "Military knife." Su Yang guessed again. "Almost." Tianyi smiled, revealing 2 shallow dimples. "Axe." "Well, we dug up 2 axes, 2 bottles of opium tincture, and a bottle of antidote," Tianyi explained. "Antidote?" Su Yang raised his eyebrows. What a coincidence. He had just finished making the poison when Tianyi found the antidote in the corpse. So it's impossible to poison? Just as Su Yang was thinking, Liang Yang suddenly rushed in. "I'll help, too." Tianyi's eyes narrowed as she glared at him. "Why are you here to join in the fun? Can you just come into the kitchen whenever you want? Get out." Liang Yang looked at Su Yang who was standing aside as if nothing had happened, and then looked at Tianyi who was furious, and felt that his body and mind had suffered a huge blow. "Then why is he standing here? This is my territory. I can let in whoever I want," Tianyi said as a matter of course. The corner of Liang Yang's mouth twitched, he felt that he was being treated unfairly. Is it true that being handsome means you can do whatever you want? At this time, Su Yang smiled and nodded at him. Liang Yang felt even more unbalanced, and said dissatisfiedly, I'm standing here today, I will definitely help you with this. How shameless! Tian Yi cursed inwardly. Hearing this, Su Yang suddenly came up with an idea and the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Soon, the seal meat was roasted and Tian Yi put the meat pieces on a plate. Take it out. Tian Yi gestured. Su Yang took it and took a plate in each hand to the restaurant. Because Liang Yang's right hand was injured, he could only help with one hand. It's time for dinner. Tian Yi shouted. Hearing this, everyone rushed to the dining table like starving ghosts. I can finally eat. I've been hungry all day. Zhang Yao touched her deflated belly. This is the first time I cook seal meat, and I don't know if it tastes good. Tian Yi gave them a shot of prevention first. As long as I can fill my stomach, Qi Ming said. There are 3 more servings in there. Can you two help bring them out? Tian Yi looked at Su Yang. I couldn't ask for more. Su Yang nodded, stood up, and walked into the kitchen with the poison in his hand. Then he quickly opened the bottle and poured the liquid inside onto the seal meat. In just a moment, the colorless and odorless poison merged with the oil. Su Yang hid the empty bottle behind the cupboard. At this time, Liang Yang walked in. What are you looking for? Liang Yang asked curiously. I see there don't seem to be enough chopsticks outside, so I'll take a few pairs out. Su Yang said. Chopsticks? Liang Yang looked at the 2 plates in his hands suspiciously. His intuition told him that Su Yang was very likely to have done something. When all the food was taken out, the 8 people sat together and prepared to enjoy dinner. Everyone has worked hard today. I'll offer you a glass of water instead of wine. Qi Ming stood up and raised his glass. Wait. Liang Yang suddenly interrupted. Everyone looked at him with doubt. Liang Yang narrowed his eyes and stared at Su Yang in front of him. Let's switch, you eat my plate. As he spoke, he swapped the plates and pushed the plate of poisonous seal meat in front of Su Yang. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with the meat? Tian Yi frowned. I don't know if there is any problem, but I'm afraid there is a traitor behind the scenes. Liang Yang sneered, Great hero, do you dare to eat it? What do you mean? Do you suspect Su Yang poisoned the food? Tian Yi said unhappily. I'm just taking out an insurance policy for myself. I don't mean to target anyone else. Liang Yang said slowly. You. Tian Yi was about to stand up for Su Yang. Su Yang took it first and said with a smile, okay. Then, in front of the 7 people, he took a bite of the poisoned seal meat, chewed it up and swallowed it. It tastes really good, worthy of the chef's skills. Su Yang gave a thumbs up with admiration. Chapter 50. Everyone watched Su Yang swallow the seal meat with their own eyes, and their expressions varied. When Liang Yang first suspected Su Yang, some people subconsciously thought of poisoning. But he didn't expect Su Yang to eat the meat without any hesitation, without any delay or hesitation. Tian Yi secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Facing Su Yang's praise for her cooking skills, she shyly said, the seasonings here are rather simple and cannot produce a very good taste. If there were rice wine or cooking wine, the taste would be even better. Then he looked at Liang Yang with an angry face, Su Yang has eaten the poisonous food, are you satisfied? Also, I spend the most time in the kitchen. If you suspect there's something wrong with the meat, you're suspecting me. It's not impossible. Liang Yang snorted coldly. You ungrateful BD. Su Yang has done so many things, but you have no complaints? You are the one who just did a little work, but you are pointing fingers at me. I now suspect that you are the traitor. Tian Yi's face was cold. Just because he does a lot of things doesn't mean he is a good person. Everyone here could be a traitor. You and I are not related at all, and we are all fighting on our own. What's wrong with questioning him? Liang Yang asked back. Tian Yi's face turned pale and blue, and she was interrupted by Qi Ming just as she was about to fight back. He knocked on the table hard and said in a deep voice, Are you done yet? It's dinner time now, so stop talking. After the captain spoke, the 2 men stopped fighting, but they were both holding their breath and refused to give in to each other. Tian Yi knew that what Liang Yang said made sense, but he doubted Su Yang, which was the same as doubting her. The chef spends the longest time in the kitchen and does not allow anyone to get close to him while he is cooking. If she wanted to poison, everyone on this ship would be in trouble. That's why Tian Yi was so angry. After the little quarrel, the meal ended in silence. It should have been a happy and peaceful atmosphere, but Liang Yang ruined it. However, this also makes players realize that this is not a game where everyone works together to overcome difficulties. The fundamental purpose was to catch the traitor, but they were so busy that they forgot about it. I'm done eating. Su Yang wiped his mouth with paper and took the cup to the side to pour water. I've finished eating too. Nan Sweking then stood up. Everyone who has finished their meal please gather in the conference room. I will arrange the tasks for the next day later. Qi Ming said. Su Yang walked towards the meeting room, feeling the changes in his body on the way. The poison won't take effect immediately. It's expected to take a while. He is very nervous now, not knowing how toxic the poison is. All his life, he had only eaten unclean things and got food poisoning. As a result, he suffered from vomiting and diarrhea, and developed acute gastroenteritis, and was in the hospital for 3 days. He will never forget that feeling in his life. Now he has entered the game, not hesitating to take the huge risk of possible death, to frame someone. As for whether the person whose stolen money was stolen is Liang Yang or Tian Yi, it depends on their performance. When I arrived at the meeting room, I saw Nan Sweking already sitting in her seat, with her long straight legs resting on the table, her legs crossed, and her chair leaning back slightly against the wall. He played with the dagger in his hands. Under the light, it gleamed coldly and you could vaguely see the dried blood remaining on it. How was the harvest today? Su Yang asked casually while sitting in his original position. Shut up, I don't want to talk to you. Nan Sweking was as cold as ever, still worried about the fact that he approached Zhang Yao and tried to extract information from her. Don't be so cold. What if you and I are allies? Su Yang said with a smile. Nan Sweking sneered upon hearing this, I dare not have any allies. If someone stabs me in the back, my life will be over. Backstab? Su Yang smiled and did not refute. He had indeed done this many times. Soon, everyone gathered in the meeting room after eating and drinking. Qi Ming pointed at the map and explained, the ship is currently several kilometers away from the central island. It will reach the next red supply area tomorrow. From what happened today, it turns out that neutral creatures are not as simple as snow rabbits and penguins. Some of them have powerful attack power. Therefore, the first priority for the second day is to deal with the neutral creatures on the middle island. As he spoke, Qi Ming pointed at the fist-sized neutral sign on the map. This neutral creature is likely to be more dangerous than the dire wolf. We must eliminate it to ensure that the ship can continue sailing. Qi Ming said. More ferocious than a wolf? Could it be a sea lion? Zhang Yao's little head moved. Sea lions are very aggressive, but they will not actively attack humans. Nan Sweking shook her head. Shark. Liang Yang guessed. Your shark lives on land. Tian Yi asked unhappily. Could it be a polar bear? Su Yang asked. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's pupils shrank slightly. They overlooked the most important point, that this place does not belong to the Earth's geomorphological feature area. But it doesn't mean there aren't similar beasts. The dire wolf is the most typical example. The temperature here is so low that it is entirely possible for giant beasts like polar bears to appear. Polar bears are the largest land carnivorous beasts on the blue planet. It would be difficult to kill them with ordinary weapons. Nan Sweking frowned. So we have to work together to resolve the threat first. Qi Ming nodded and continued, the supplies we got today will be given to hunters and gunners first. You two should prepare enough arrows and bullets. Okay. Nan Sweking nodded in agreement. Tomorrow's route is very simple. After the neutrals are dealt with, the engineers will go to the left supply area to move coal, and the doctors and hunters will go to the left as usual. The navigator goes to the abandoned ship on the middle island to get supplies. The chef and the priest continue to kill neutral creatures to get meat. The gunner goes to the red supply area on the right to get supplies. Is there any problem? Qi Ming asked. Everyone had no objection to this allocation, as the captain had fully utilized the strengths of each profession. People who came back late today should have noticed that the wind and snow are getting stronger and stronger. This should be a trend that will increase over time. Qi Ming looked at Su Yang. Su Yang nodded and said, the temperature is getting lower and lower. If this continues, there will probably be a snowstorm in 3 days. Snowstorm, is it very severe? Zhang Yao asked puzzledly. Once the blizzard forms, everyone on our ship will die here. Qi Ming said in a deep voice. When Tian Yi heard this, she immediately thought of the corpses buried under the wind and snow, and she couldn't help but shudder. Then we have to speed up the process. Well, I will set sail as soon as the project brings back the coal tomorrow, and try to reach the iceberg in the evening. Qi Ming nodded slightly. At this point, he suddenly remembered something, looked at Nan Sweking and asked, "How is the fuel replenishment?" "I'll go take a look later," Nan Sweking said. "Okay, everyone has worked hard all day, go back and rest early, and remember to lock the door." Qi Ming used his military knife to draw a line in the area where all the supplies had been collected. As Su Yang stood up, he felt a sudden pain in his stomach, his face turned purple instantly, and he fell heavily to the ground. Bang! Su Yang! Tian Yi's face suddenly changed when she saw this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.